I'm gonna tell QJ you was rapping on this beat.
That's hard,
man.
gang.
He gonna send him an invoice.
Right.
Uh-oh.
That's fine.
Uh-oh.
We gonna make it back.
Hey,
You can believe that.
Hey.
I want to tell
That was
everybody
hard.
welcome back to the To Be Fair Show. I am your host, Johnny P.
Oh, here, real.
It's Q.
And we back. Special guest in the building with us today, Day Brown, rapper, artist, engineer, entrepreneur, entertainer, dad.
Yeah, that one, that way.
I had to throw that one in there, but
For sure.
definitely want to welcome
Professional rug cutter.
professional
Type
rug cutter.
Type shit.
Type shit.
Definitely. But we want to welcome Day Brown to the panel with us today.
Man,
Definitely
appreciate
you
y'all.
pulling
Appreciate
up with
y'all,
us.
man. Thank you.
Before we get into it, I want to tell everybody hit the notification button,
Yes.
hit the subscribe button, like, comment below, follow us on D2B Fair Show. We on TikTok, we on Threads, we on Instagram and Facebook.
Yes.
Shit, I guess we'll go ahead and hop right into it.
All right. What we rock, paper, scissors? What we doing, Johnny?
Let's get it.
Oh, you can join us in this too. So how we find out who goes first on the memes? We just do it old fashioned rock, paper, scissors.
Bet.
All right.
Johnny's trash.
I'm mad competitive.
Oh, I'm gonna get
Wait,
this.
but you gotta like rock, paper,
Yeah,
scissors, shoot, or
yeah,
rock, paper,
rock, paper,
scissors.
scissors, shoot.
Rock, you gotta shoot.
Okay.
You ready?
Mhm.
Rock, paper, scissors. All right, Johnny. You
Oh,
out of here. my
Out of
boy.
here, kids.
Quick and easy.
Whoa.
Hey, this nigga was like, you ever seen a team go like 3-0 the first 3 games and then they finish 3-12?
What you talking about? Which
whoever you want to.
how Dion them doing?
Exactly that.
Damn, that
That's
was
what
the Colorado.
Exactly.
That was a Dion joke. My bad.
Hold on. Did we all throw scissors? Did he just get
That
jumped?
man don't
Yeah,
even
we
have
jumped him.
paper, bro.
Yeah, he up out of there. All
Cool. Like, it's
right, here we go.
We'll get
Rock,
back.
paper, scissors, shoot.
Good.
All right, go again. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Mm.
All right, so you-
okay.
So you decide the order from 1 to 4. If you want to go first, it's on you. You want to go like how you feeling it?
You know what? Since we beat him up, you want to rock your memes first?
I'll take the pity. I'll take
That
the
man been wearing L's for weeks now.
I'll take the pity. Let me go. Let me see what I got.
Break out the focals for it.
Let me see.
Liquid diamonds. I don't sound quite like you, but I tried.
It's okay. I took some singing lessons in life.
He said, "Did you say a life or a knife?"
In life,
Okay.
you know, like somebody helped with that.
I got you.
My
I
boy
got you.
Code too.
Shit, let me get Walker right there on the corner. I think that's a good one.
in the morning, country towns, and still got respect.
Mhm.
I cut all my lights on, put my keys in my fucking ID on top of the window, and cross my arms and roll every window down.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
You know why? Not because I'm black. Because I got enough respect for your job. I don't know what the fuck you deal with every day.
Mhm.
You all listen to dispatches of rape, killing, stealing, all this shit every day. So from my knowledge, you just as gangsters, if not worse than a guy on the streets. You actually need to get mental evaluations every month because you think life is full of corruption because that's all you work in. So I actually could sympathize with you. So let me help you out.
Yeah.
And I've always been like this. When I was younger, police sit me down, give my ID, I give them my social security number. Back then, they're like, "Damn, like, yeah, nigga, I'm not hot at."
Yeah.
So at least out of this group, I'm not your threat.
And then how do cops treat you when you do that?
Way different. Shit, I've been pulled over 3 a.m, country towns, and still.
I think it's just something, like everybody know about, Walker, but he talked about the respect for their job and like we get pulled over, we go through our shit and it's scary, it's whatever, but like the same shit happen with them when they pulling motherfuckers over, they don't know who they pulling over either. So the best way to approach the situation is just everybody try to have a mutual respect for one another. I think that's all it's kind of speaking on right there.
I done had like good experiences and negative experiences. And the craziest thing is that the one negative experience I had was from a black cop in Salisbury. 2 black cops, actually. Everybody know who they are, 104. And but usually, you know what I mean? I got respect for them because at the end of the day, it's probably one of the hardest, if not the hardest job in America. Because when you show up, everybody's hot. You know what I mean? If you show up and like, unless you're there to like save somebody, when you show up at the party and trying to shut the party, everybody hot about that. Like, you know what I mean? You're gonna have to deal with everybody cursing at you, and you know what I mean? It's a rough job. Matter of fact, my brother-in-law was a officer in Charlotte, and he was like, over time, he was talking, man, it's getting pretty bad around here, bro. It's getting worse. And then he just got out. So yeah, I respect him. I
like the mental evaluation point,
Mhm.
honestly. I thought that was a strong point that could be easily implemented into some police work for real.
I
Like,
agree.
all them dollars, y'all could definitely go see it shrink.
No, that's a
agree.
fact. Yeah, I ain't really got too much of an opinion outside of what y'all said.
And I also think that they're like one of the a lot of the civil servants that we have are underpaid.
Yes.
Most of them are
Oh, yeah.
underpaid.
My goodness,
They
yeah.
definitely need, and alone once you come up with the if the wages increase, then we can get some better minimum requirements. Because you can pretty much go from McDonald's to being a police officer. They ain't really know. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and that goes. I guess one of my points when they be like defund the police, I kind of take a contrary approach. I think that if you hire the standards and pay them more, you get better candidates and you get better policing in general.
Agreed.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. I think they should have to get college degrees too.
I ain't mad at it.
Like,
I think the higher you put it, because right now the main thing is like if you actually want to like live a comfortable life, you're not going to go into policing.
That's a fact.
So like it's almost like a net negative where you end up getting, as we talked about last week, some of those guys that got bullied and just trying to find a way to be able to, you know what I mean, like
power hungry people.
right, find some level of power and control, or low tier candidates in general. Just some people that can kind of run up and down a football field and do a couple little things and pass like a really small baseline evaluation. But if we want better policing, we have to find a way to get better candidates.
Oh yeah,
No, I would agree 100%.
totally agree.
Definitely. For real.
Let me go middle row, third one down. Yeah, buddy, right there. It's a good one.
Bro, this a message for all the young niggas in Charlotte, all the teenagers, bro, all that shit, bro. Chill out, bro. Go to school.
Chill out.
Bro, go get a job. Go do something productive with y'all life, bro. Get out these fucking streets, nigga. Y'all niggas ain't doing shit but running around, killing each other, stealing cars, dying, bro. Like, y'all niggas ain't got nothing to live for, bro. Y'all niggas is just throwing y'all life away before y'all can even get this shit started, bro. It's time to just chill out, bro. We into a new year, bro. Let's start fresh. Let's stop the bullshit, bro. Come on now, bro. Y'all young. Y'all got so much to live for, and y'all throwing that shit down the drain for what? A quick buck? The adrenaline rush, bro, it ain't worth it, dog. I'm trying to tell y'all, it's not worth it, bro. This a message for all the young niggas in Charlotte, all the teenagers, bro, all that shit, bro.
It's self-explanatory.
Chill out.
Very much so.
That's just self-explanatory right there. And then let me get Godfrey, top left.
He doing the voice joints he been doing lately.
No, not on this one.
Oh, okay.
We're like the only race of people that they tell us to forget our history.
Right.
Everybody else, you know,
fine.
the Japanese would be like Hiroshima, Nagasaki. We're going to let you know so it doesn't repeat itself.
Even 9/11.
9/11. The Jewish people, Holocaust, don't you forget that shit. That shit's not going to happen.
Right.
Armenian slaughter, every other person. And then they'll all ask us to support them
Yes.
in their plight.
Yep.
And we
That's
will
When
go,
you say-
you're right.
Yes.
And we'll protest with
What
them.
about slave?
What about slavery? Oh, fuck.
There you
Slavery.
go.
So true.
They just want us to continue to entertain, give them creative ideas so they can steal all of that shit.
Yes.
We are the only motherfuckers that they tell to forget about our history. The shit is so disgusting.
Disgusting.
When you go to a doctor's office, what's the first thing they do? They pull out your medical history.
Right.
I really believe this. We are so deeply hated around the world. They hate us so much.
Right. It's so true.
And if they're not making money off of, if they're not benefiting sexually, monetarily, culturally, they don't think of us as
And the
human
reason why I say
beings.
that
We're like the only.
Yeah, that's
Where you want to go with that conversation, Johnny?
well, really, I kind of want to wait because I want to come back to it later. But I just think
So
that's
that was a teaser.
a little bit. But I mean, I think it's a great point because I mean, everybody else like try to say that the Holocaust didn't happen and see what they happened. and see what they have to say. But like when we talk about slavery, they be like, "Oh, that was 100 years ago. Y'all should get over it." But then anything else that happens to anybody, everybody has to remember it. And it's just funny to me, and I don't know the reason and why. I don't know what kind of play they're running, but it's becoming way more prominent now, and it seems like it went from where it seems like it's going from slavery, was 100 years ago to America wasn't a racist country at all. And it's like they keep on pushing it and pushing it and pushing it till it seems like eventually there's not going to be anything that ever happened. And I think it's just, you got to call it out. You got to see the plays that they're running. You got to see what they're trying to do with a lot of the bills they're trying to push, a lot of the curriculums they're trying to ban and stuff. You got to see what they're doing to see like the play in the long form. It might just go from, slavery happens a long time ago, but then eventually they're going to go from that to, well, no, it was never slavery. And
hey Johnny, I might ask you a question. I guess we could probably run this a little bit into your conversation later. How much of an emphasis do you think should be placed on slavery and Black people in slavery as they teach history?
I think it should definitely be a pretty big emphasis if you're telling American history and you're telling us what happened in this country and how this country got here. I think there should be a big emphasis on, but a lot of this labor that they got was free labor, and a lot of that wasn't made up. A lot of these people still aren't allowed to participate in the fruits, and I think this should be a big caveat in the American story. Definitely.
Gotcha. I guess before we get too, we'll say the rest of the conversation, I guess, for your question. I think that, to me, I don't think that there's ever been, at least me growing up, a shortage of them telling us that we were slaves and then Martin Luther King. Like those is like the two main points that you get is like, hey, y'all niggas were slaves and then y'all had to fight to be human. And that's kind of it. It doesn't really like push too much of specific accomplishments out of maybe 4 or 5. And we all can probably name most of those 4 or 5. W.E.B. Du Bois, Booker T. Washington. You know what I mean? Like you kind of run those ones down.
I mean, there's a lot more than just 4 or 5. I mean, it's like
no, that's cool. So let me just finish this up because I know you don't want to get too deep into it. But I do think that your question also lends to an idea of how much would it take to, let me see how I can frame it. I think learned helplessness and victim mentality is somewhere in there, right? And at what point is an overemphasis going to teach kids victim mentality and learned helplessness? If we're like highlighting specifically slavery and trying to make sure that that's where we double down on. And that's why I said how much of emphasis. I don't think it should be not talked about, but I think that we did wild, crazy shit after and before as well as.
Would you ask that question to like?
So you want to go too deep into it now?
Well, let's not.
Can I say one thing?
Oh yeah,
go ahead.
I think it needs to be as prominent as us using the word nigga.
Explain it. I don't know if I understand it.
You say nigga?
Yeah, I say nigga.
All right. It's easy for you?
Yeah.
That hurt somebody once though.
Right.
But now it don't, because we used it and we turned it.
Okay.
And we took that history of this and made it into something I can dab you up and shake your hand with. So if I could dab you up and shake your hand with a little bit of slavery.
That's weird. I get where you're going though.
I guess I would need you to give me like an example.
It's the idea of like normalizing the conversation to where it's not even such a. It doesn't actually have the negative effect.
Yeah,
that
still eat mac and cheese.
But I guess to me, I feel like that is where it's already been at. I don't agree with like them taking it out. But I think that the most normal conversation is white kids believing that they're better than Black kids because their parents, their great grandparents once owned them. It seems like what most of them kind of have like a lot of their supremacy ideology off of in general. It's like it's so normalized and accepted, and it's cool. Like it's them niggas over there. Like Joe Biden, he'll run it down quick. He'll be like, even like minorities can do as good as white people. Like he'll drop the little gems that like let you know what his mindset really is.
Right.
Like that shit really normal to them.
But that perspective is singular because they're only telling one side of it. They're not even telling where they came from. Like, that's a whole other conversation. We can get into that too.
Oh no, we're gonna die. We're gonna die. Where we going from nowadays?
Well, no, I got one more. I just got one more.
He's lit.
Go to
going 15 minutes.
Exactly.
No,
we're going.
I think I'm hot, Tom.
Hey, just go to the very top, the last one I got. Or Buddy in the Black Hair. It's funny.
When I found you, found my most intimate friend. When I found you, I found whatever when I found you, I found love.
I didn't know what I was gonna say. Yeah, the pressure is on you, not on him, on me. But I have loved this man for forever. We have a child together and we have a family together. I know he doesn't think much of this little sinning thing that we've done today, but I wanted to find out. We've known each other for 10 years. I wanted to know if he'd spend the rest of his life with me.
In front of everybody.
That's the look of a nigga that got side bitches. I didn't see it. I know they do it.
He scratched his head.
Yo, I'll go ahead and kiss her, man. You want to see that? You want to see some juice?
That nigga shaking his head the whole time.
My whole mouth is
That's tough.
My thing is like the only way to take that is to take the ring to her and then like that.
That's tough.
That's rough.
But she get on one knee.
Bro, what you doing when that happens?
Yeah, y'all know my stance, y'all. That ain't something that would happen to me.
Whew.
Yeah, I'm more. If you want
Shorty did that.
Bro couldn't say no.
I'm picking her up off the ground and like, but she wasn't on the ground and all that. But like, that's rough.
You in a tough spot though because then with all the family around, you just gonna like egg it.
Yeah,
you can't go.
No. You can't make her look that stupid. Like you can't make her look stupid in front of everybody. That's just you can't do that.
Not if you want to be with her.
Right.
Yeah, especially if you want to be with her.
Right. If you don't,
even if you don't want to be with her, she got everybody sitting there looking at you. You still,
it's tough. You can't.
What is he doing right now? Like, why would she do this right now? That's rough though.
Cuz scratched his head is crazy.
Yeah, he like head shaking the whole time.
Now, how do you think a woman like that is gonna be in a marriage though?
I don't know. I think that's hard to kind of tell because it was 10 years. So it's
I would say that in order to do that, 10 years. I would say for a woman to do that, there's definitely a value that she sees. That's not questionable. Yeah. There's a value that she sees.
It has to be.
And you know what I mean? I think that would come with like if that was a scenario, I would assume that she's looking to she believes that she, all of these different things, the leading and of the family, and he's obviously showing these characteristics. So it sounds like she would be willing to fall in line with whatever he got going on because she does see the value in him as the man.
I think Tone do it differently.
Nah, I'm just curious what y'all was thinking.
Oh, okay.
I wonder how she would be in a marriage.
Day. I feel like you're about to say something.
She might be dope and submissive, but by his body language, it seemed like he got some other things going on. She's not too keen on like her actual partner, that's gonna be bad. Either he's gonna be.
Did she have an accent? It sounded like she was like Caribbean African.
Yeah, she had something.
It looked like they was both African because he said as an African man. So.
Oh, is that what he said?
I couldn't hear that either.
He said something about as an African man, something he couldn't do or something.
Oh, he wouldn't with it because of.
Okay.
That would be me too. That's the hardest part. Even if I did want to marry you proposing to me ain't the way it's gonna work out. Let's talk about this down the line. I ain't with that. I ain't with that juice.
Can't do. Get up, honey.
All right, who's up next?
You can go. You
I
got
don't even know, bro. Yeah, I kind of be shooting my joints early in the week. What I got in there, Tom?
Let's see.
Shoot them.
Yeah, you just pick them, bro. Run me 3 up. Oh, nah. Go to Ross real quick because that kind of went with like last week. You remember we were talking about this?
I seen it.
Breaking ground. I'm excavating. It's going down. Y'all know how I love real estate, and I usually like to build and go up. We going underground now. One time for all my doomsday preppers. Elon Musk, I see you. I saw your ground plans. I'm impressed. But guess what? My bunker gonna have a garage. My bunker gonna have wings. Huh? Yeah, we breaking ground. Huge excavations. You gotta have your fluids. I got a water maker, a machine that makes water out of H2O. I got a water maker. We got our canned goods. So if you're thinking the brothers ain't ready, we ready. We breaking ground.
Nigga say he make water out of H2O.
Murder. He just put y'all up on some shit.
He's crazy, bro. That's funny.
Hey, I keep hearing bro in my head. Why you building all these bunkers?
Yeah.
My nigga Ross read the cultural script right then. All the nigga shit you want.
All of it. You see, got garage. Where you gonna drive the cars at, bro?
He said his bunker got wings.
Wings.
My bunker got wings.
Excavation.
Major excavations.
One time for all the. He's shouting out bunkers.
Hey, so why they building these bunkers though?
Is Jesus coming?
We got lemon pepper wings, vacuum sealed.
Throw me back up there real quick, Tom.
Was there any commentary to it? Anybody got conspiracy bunker?
They building the bunkers.
I mean, I don't have enough money to build the bunker, so I think that whatever is coming,
you told us that we SOL last week. Right?
What you tell me? What else you got on your side?
I was taking your advice. You told me not to care about it.
I mean, what I'm asking you is, so what are you gonna do if it requires a bunker? Whatever this thing is gonna happen, if you're not gonna make it, if you don't have a bunker, what are you gonna do?
Pray.
If it requires a bunker, you know how to dig. I'm like,
bro, you ain't never dug a hole before with a shovel.
I've dug a hole, but
with a shovel.
Yes.
So
it's gonna take a while.
What?
So I'm saying you wouldn't try to do it.
Hold on, did you see the movie?
But I'm saying you wouldn't try to do it.
Did you watch Holes?
Yes, that's one of my favorite movies. I read the book 3 times.
So you saw the blisters he was biting off his fingers.
Bro, we talking life or death.
No, I get it.
If we talking life or death, who gives a fuck about a blister?
Johnny, I think you should go and do it, bro. I think you
Johnny,
should go and get a shovel.
We both gonna get shovels.
But y'all got to shovel y'all own bunkers though. Y'all don't go together. I want to see how far y'all get.
I know who not coming. I know who not coming in my bunker when I get done. I know who not coming.
You gonna have a garage in yours?
I don't need a garage.
I'm gonna have wings.
I don't need none of that. I just need a door.
I'm gonna go rent an excavator. That's what I'm doing.
I just need a door.
Quick little excavator.
You're gonna need some H2O water too.
Yeah.
I just gotta find that machine that turns H2O in the water.
Exactly.
Like, is he taking hydrogen and then like he got like 2 oxygens and then he's just gonna like throw them together? Or how is he doing that?
That nigga say he Bobby Boucher. He
from Lake Minnetonka.
Different.
All right, we on to the next one.
Yeah. Let me see what else.
That is biblical though. I ain't gonna lie to you. The Bible said they're gonna hide in rocks.
Hey, bro, I be trying to tell them this stuff. They don't like.
They're gonna hide in rocks. What does that mean?
They gonna hide.
What does that mean?
They gonna hide beneath the rocks of the mountains. It's like rich people, kings, bondsmen, free men, like everybody who don't believe. They're gonna hide when he come. For those of us who do, I'm gonna be front center. Like, what's cracking, Jesus?
How you doing?
You hear me? He got one name. We all know it. Even the non-believers know it. You can't be atheist without believing in something. A belief or even a non-belief is a belief. So,
hey, speak that.
They gotta wake up every day and be like, "I will not pray." That's crazy. That's crazy. You don't even bless your food. That's crazy, gang.
Hey, bro.
Uh-oh.
It ain't come from Tom this week, bro.
Hey.
But nah, that is in the Bible though. They say that they're gonna hide when it's time. And they about to hide. Not that it's gonna be next week or nothing, but
yeah.
They got to spend their money some way.
Interesting.
And those who have entered that specific group of people in life that Cat Williams was talking about.
The naughty.
Type shit.
It's beyond that.
It's way beyond that.
Yep.
For sure. But that's why they've been planning for so long. That's all that goes into even the conversation we was having before, just like keeping niggas down. We all like the spiritual essence. We all like the whole thing.
My brother. That was. I would have loved that. Like the last couple weeks, we could.
You should have been here last week.
Like last week,
could have been here last
3 weeks. The last 3 weeks.
The last few weeks.
I'd have gave it up with y'all.
Things was going up. All right, let me see what I got, Tom. Let me see, bro. I don't remember what show they was talking about.
Let's find out.
Okay.
So she used to be a
I used to be a terrible wife the first year of our marriage. So I used to pack my husband's lunch. I still do. I pack his lunch every day. But back then, I would pack his lunch, but if I was mad at him, I wouldn't pack his lunch that day. And I wouldn't even tell him ahead of time. He would get ready to go out the door. Like, he's timed his morning, to leave on time. Get ready to go out the door, sees that there's no lunchbox there. Then he'd have to throw something together really quick in like 2 minutes. That was mean of me. That meant me serving him was conditional. My love for him was conditional on whether or not we were arguing about something. I'm not that wife anymore. I pack his lunch no matter what. I used to be a terrible wife the first year of our marriage.
And the reason that settled in with me, I've been married for quite some time, and I think I'm pretty sure even outside of marriage and relationship, a lot of the time, and I know we've also heard about like men saying this thing coming along where men are saying that, and women are, I think a lot of women are agreeing once they get down to the nitty gritty of it, is that love for men is conditional. It's based in what you can do, and when said thing is not being fulfilled, then all bets are off. You know what I mean? And I know plenty of dudes that lived and seen this over and over and over again. So like when I heard it, and then honestly, like I think it's a part of it too. Like I think that even the way you love somebody grows as you you start to learn love and how to love. Like I think that like a lot of people haven't even gotten to a place to where they even know how this thing, especially like in relationship, you know what I mean? A lot of us don't get to a point to where we even understand what that even looks like. Everything is conditional, you know what I mean? And I think that especially in today's time, it's even more conditional. Is if you're not only is your love conditional, then if you're for sale, you're for sale. If you're for sale, your love is conditional. I think those two things are like kind of, they go hand in hand. You can't be for sale and then it not be conditional.
That's facts.
So I thought that was going to be a dope one to kind of, what do y'all think? Anybody, Johnny, you, Day, what y'all think about like the idea of are
you putting this to like specifically men or just conditional love in general?
Well, I will say this about the lady. She did say that that's what she used to do, and now that she now does it every day. So does that now mean that she unconditionally loves her man if she does it? If it once was conditional, and now that she does it every day, does that make it unconditional?
I think that, I mean, it makes that in that scenario, he doesn't get the benefit of getting that from her, that how you gonna call it, that gesture from her based in whether she's mad or not.
Well, she said she stopped. She said she stopped it.
No. I agree, and it's really, really good that she stopped, because you know what I mean. Like, I don't know, long-term relationship, you'll see these things. So like anything, you know what I mean. A lot of the time, she ain't cooking today because we got into it, so she ain't gonna cook. You know what I mean? Or we didn't got into it and all bets are off. Like everything is off. Like I don't care about. It's like they'll get to they don't care. They don't care about nothing, that they ain't doing none of the things that everything that they were doing for you was a privilege. It was a privilege that was based in what you were going to be doing for them, or the fact that everything was, hunky dory. But then when things hit the fan, there's people start to opt out. And I think that it can be the other side too, because I've done it myself. You know what I mean? Because you aren't doing what I'm asking you to do, the things that I normally do for you that I provide I'm not doing those. You know what I mean? I think that I wouldn't say that I didn't love her during that time, but I think that our understanding of love evolves as we come closer and closer together.
All right, so you kind of rounded it off a little bit to where I was going to ask, but I still kind of have a piggyback question to it. So it sounds like, are we all in agreement that love in general has conditions?
Yeah, I'd say love does have conditions.
All right, so then piggybacking off of that, I guess a good question. We'll see how many. I mean, just the legs that this has, but what are I wrote the shit down. What are the conditions of your love? Or what are some conditions? It's almost like cheesy, but what are some conditions in which if you're with a partner, like these are some things that kind of have to get done. Like, so for a woman, a lot of times it's like protect, provide. Like we know some of those certain conditions. With guys, I do think that typically there are conditions. Like sometimes it's like box. Like how, like if I'm not getting any sex ever, I mean it's a reality.
Yeah, like, I thought we had this conversation.
Yeah, like and that tends to kind of like change and grow, and like the distance between like frequency might change. But but
I mean, for most men, that's a non-negotiable.
Bust it open, yeah, for sure.
That's a non-negotiable for most guys.
I did want to say something before y'all skip. Like, I don't want to skip over the fact that this lady did do something that was pretty dope to me. She took something that's like a double standard that women can get away with. Like, you know, like if a man,
women that get divorced,
like but okay, so say like a man, like certain things, like normally in a situation like that, he probably wasn't thinking about it like she a bad wife. He just like, she mad. Oh well, she gonna have to get over it, and went about his day. But she took the. You know, she sat there and realized that herself, like, I wouldn't want to be treated like this, and I'm doing this to him. So I think that was pretty cool that she realized that. I just didn't want to skip past it.
No, I absolutely agree. And I think another thing to just kind of go on what he's saying is that I think that in this time frame, we believe that like there's an ideal or this perfect person that we're going to get with where these things match up and everything's just going to be so smooth, and it doesn't exist. I was talking to a female recently, and or a woman, one of my loved ones, and she was telling me that her life was easier when she was single, and I think that that's just a fact. Your life will be easier when you're single because you don't have another person to worry about. You always have that person to consider. Like if you're in like a real relationship, like there's not a time that person is not, I mean, of course, little bullshit, but like 9 times out of 10, if there's anything that's really about to happen that requires a real decision, that person is considered. You know what I mean? So it's going to be much harder being with someone than being by yourself. And that's something that just comes with it. So if you do want someone, that is just what the real life of it is, let alone add kids to it. Then you talking about a whole nother can of worms that's just like, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, I agree. And it's dope to see hear real conversations about like growth and, you know what I mean, accountability in long-term, or she was married, so in marriage.
I thought the interesting thing that she said was like the very last 3 words was no matter what. And that's the part I was like towards your point, which is like, are there conditions to the love? Because no matter what means
no matter what.
No matter what. And does your no matter what match my no matter what? What are the parameters for no matter what? And I thought that was like the interesting thing that she said as far as anything. I'm like, yeah, that no matter what hit a little different. Because what was you mad about the first time? That was so significant that you didn't do the thing that you would normally do. Like,
nah, that's facts.
Yeah, I was listening to somebody, and the concept of conditional love kind of came up. Matter of fact, it was Umar. Umar been inside my algorithm just since. It's probably because we didn't have 2 episodes that dealt with Umar.
It was that relationship podcast with the two dudes.
2 dudes, yeah.
I saw that.
All right, so you've seen it, and he kind of talked about like his take on conditional love, in which he thinks that love should be unconditional. And he said that whether that means she got to leave and I got to love her for it, and he kind of went down that line. But I think that the normal way to kind of truthfully look at it is that we like people under conditions, we love people under conditions, and typically if those conditions change drastically enough, like the things that are kind of like the axis of what our conditions, spin on, I think most people kind of tap out.
The crazy thing though is that
and y'all ran from the question.
I don't agree with that though.
Oh, so you believe that no matter what, you like with a partner, you can be with them no matter what. So,
no, it's that love.
Oh yeah, love. Yeah, yes, love.
Yeah, love is that, like being with somebody doesn't mean, you know what I mean? That isn't signify love to me, anyways. But what I
Would
say,
you be with somebody for like
you can love somebody and not be
and-
with them though.
Right, but I think we're talking about inside like the idea of marriage and being together for an extended period of time.
See, the thing is that over time, what you'll notice if you're married with the person long enough, you'll start to see that like those things come and go. Like it's just like everything else. Like the idea of, oh well, I'm mad, so I'm not gonna do this. This is something that may be a thing for a time, and you may say that the love is conditional, but I think that it comes to a point to where we become each other's responsibility, and the love is no longer conditional. Like it comes a point to where like it's not like you understand that you're responsible for how I feel, and I understand that, and it becomes a thing where you're still going to have the hills and the roller coasters, but it's not going to be based in whether or not my love for you. I don't think that
wavers it's like much. More of an acceptance type thing,
right? Like it gets,
but usually it still ends up being like certain conditions still have to be met. Like I've seen from like 20 to 30 to 40, like they like people still get divorced, and separate even further down. And a lot of times, like sometimes even conditions could be when the like all the kids get out of the house. Now we'll separate and kind of do a thing. Sometimes the conditions could be that guy finally stopped being able to provide at 52 or 53 or something like that, and then she like, damn, I'm gonna tap out now. Or like likewise, this woman has completely grown into something that I am not interested in anymore. And I enjoy my last 10, 20, 30, 40 years by myself. I've seen so many of these different versions of the scenario in which eventually a condition, and of course, like I think that there's like it's not like black or white. I think that there's definitely some gray in there where there's certain things that like it shouldn't be like that shouldn't be the thing that's going to tap you out.
Right. Because
like,
you was tapped out before. If these type of things, you was really tapped out. Then you really just living. All of this is conditional. Everything that us being together in its entirety is conditional. Not even love or not love. You know what I mean? This whole interaction is conditional.
Like for example, I think that this is a simple one we can all agree on. I think most men would say respect. A certain level of respect is a condition
that's the
to
100%.
That was the question you were talking about.
Yeah,
getting back to. Oh yeah, respect.
So again, I love to see if y'all got a couple other ones that like your love can be conditioned on.
Loyalty.
Mm-hmm.
Like you gotta like if you're not loyal to me, I can't love you.
Y'all know me, Mr. I guess I'm gonna go with the old Mr. Traditional. Your willingness to allow my leadership is it's not conditional for me. Like that's one of those things I got.
This is all we saying to be married, right?
Yeah. Like inside like a relationship that we would be inside a 10-year space with.
Yeah.
Like we're talking about like this is the person with 10, 15, 20, 30 lifetime.
I like all that. Respect, loyalty, compromise, and really like just I like personal like emotional stability. Like I need a clear person to talk to when things are going crazy on earth. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stability mentally and emotionally, I think is like wildly important between people. Especially if you want to like communicate actual love and actual, feelings. Like, yo, I'm hurting today. I might need a little extra affection here, like to survive this moment, like or whatever it is. But I think that kind of stability emotionally and mentally is.
So could you be with a woman that has everything but is not emotionally nurturing for an extended period of time?
She ain't got everything, man.
Yes.
She loyal?
Yeah, she's all the other things though.
Then we
respect
can grow.
you. Okay.
We can grow. Respect and all that. Like, certain things come with it, but we can grow. But I think like if that never happens.
So that's a want more than a need, that one specifically.
It's like I have to see it in you though. Because it's a need for me personally.
You need it at some point. Like
I need it personally because I need to know that the person I'm talking to is going to be on the same page, like emotionally where I am, like and mentally. Like, all right, we working on these things. Problems arise. I need to know that I can come to you and be like, look, we need to get X, Y, and Z done, and you there with me too. Like, but you got to see it first because you don't know that type of thing till you in the thick of it with somebody. And that becomes like the hard part.
No, that's a fact. I think that that kind of piggybacks a little bit. And I guess we could probably wrap this. I'm sure you got more memes, but I do think where you was just at is an interesting space where like see it, because I don't think that where we're at right now when it comes down to men, mental health, emotional intelligence, and being able to properly express, it's like new terrain in general for men and women. Where like guys are now learning how to express themselves and be, a little bit more vulnerable, XYZ. But as well, women haven't seen men inside that light, so they kind of have to learn that part as well. And it's a learning thing where like a lot of women, they didn't grow up in households where say their mother was emotionally nurturing to like say their father or something like that. Because of most men of that generation, kind of like drunk. What's the word? Drink water, drive on. Yeah, like they just bottled the shit up and like the shit came out inside other different ways. So I thought that was a good point.
Yeah, that's crazy. Because I mean, I still battle with that, like the idea of me knowing how to, because it's when you kind of on the go handling it and taking, you know what I mean. It's hard for you to even sit down and know where you are mentally. So you kind of just continuing to do the thing over and over, checking these boxes and making sure that you are laying this base level for everything that's around you, and you don't even really realize like when you need to check in.
There's no there's no balance. You don't know where you're at. You just in the pool, but you don't know, am I sinking? Am I swimming?
The only thing I just still check that box. That box still being checked. I'm still checking these boxes, but shoot, I don't know where I am for myself though. You know what I mean? And so I kind of battle with that, like back and forth with that, John.
Yeah.
Getting lost in the zombie mode and sauce of kind of just making sure everybody's all right. But yeah, I think let me see what else up there. I might give the rest of my time up to one of the bros.
I got one if you ain't got that.
Okay, go ahead. Do your thing, brother.
All right. Let's see.
Say I'm locked and loaded.
I got a lot of stuff, but this something I thought was interesting.
Open the hell his ass. I got it. All right.
Okay.
Son. Mama said I need to talk to you.
That I ain't do nothing.
I don't want to hear it.
Man.
That's 16 Your mama know you sneaking girls in the house, bro. Your mama cut off time is 8:30. 9:45, she knocked out. She knocked out at 9:45. I don't cracked her back and everything. She out, son. And listen, go through the back door. Don't come through the front door. Your mama can hear everything, son. Go through the back door. You know the camera don't work like that. In the meantime, if you want to stick your little homegirls over there, no, I ain't nothing wrong with it. Your mama used to do it. I don't know why she acting like that. I had all the time sneaking in my mama house.
Swear.
So listen, let me know ahead of time. Let me know, shoot me a text, Dad, I'll bring my friend girl over there. I'm gonna have that door unlocked and I'm gonna adjust the camera in the back another way. So she can't see, all right? That's all you gotta do, son. If you're gonna do it right. And you condoms, boy, all right? And when your mama talk to you, you let her know I got on your ass hard. I fussed you out, I cussed you out, and did all that, all right? We good? I love you, boy. Crazy. Open the hell his ass. I got it.
Grandkid, boy.
Oh, bro, hey, yeah, that's why I wanted to have a discussion at. Like, what do y'all really think about that? Is that like I think that was definitely the code when we was younger, but I think it's evolved to something else now. Like, I'm not cool with that for my son. Like,
yeah, no, I'm not telling him that. I don't find myself being like that either. Like, I'm not finna help you. Because the thing is that
the old nigga association for sure.
No, I know it. But see, the thing is that it be having more ramifications for you if something do hit the fan. See, as the man, bro, you and your old lady, you obviously trying to deviate from what y'all.
Oh no, I'm at that age with my son right now. So like, I can only just sit and think of, like, there's certain things, and I want to see where he was going to go. He went specifically like the female route, in which like you going to District 19 or whatever that shit is called, or going to the movies and doing all that. I don't get, like, go have a kiss with a girl. I don't give a shit about none of that. But that part where I can become a grandfather, I ain't interested. Like, I ain't talking about like where condoms. Nah, you could, like, whatever you want to do after you got out of 19, 20, 21, that's on you. But my goal for you under 18, especially under this, I ain't interested in no kids. I'm just not.
Absolutely.
No grandkids, at least. I might pop another one out, but
I mean, and then it's the other side of things. You know how people live about their daughters, man.
That's where I was gonna go.
You heard me? Nah.
You heard me?
He say it's finna be sisters and brothers, not no grandkids.
Right.
And no, but you heard Tone say it was funny. I was actually having a conversation with a homie about this last night. About like he got a daughter. His daughter's 14.
Mm-hmm.
He's asking, so like, at what age do you think it's okay for your daughter to have a boyfriend?
Never.
I don't think it's interesting. I don't even think it's important for you to. Well, I guess you gotta put a number, but she gonna do what she want to do at school anyway.
Yeah, and that was the thing. So like the number that he gave was like something along the lines of what you were saying. But the reality of it is that if you stand on that, she's gonna hide it all.
Yep.
If you stand on that, she's gonna hide it all. And that's one of those like rough parts about it. It's like, because my daughter's only 3, my son's 1, so like I ain't got no real season just yet on my
same
conversation of how old you say you got 2 boys?
They're both 3 and 1.
Oh yeah, bro. A question, bro. Are boys just shell like that?
They fighting, but like I grew up with older brothers, so I'm like, we scrapping, fighting, living life.
No, I'm talking about like climbing on the entertainment stands and that's just popping off.
Yeah, that's that rough play that they say them boys need, or kids in general need.
I'm talking about
100%.
He could just test his balance on everything. He just want to see if he like that or not. I'm like, I mean, my thing is that, hey, I feel like you gonna figure it out one way or other. Either you gonna be like, okay, I'm nice enough to do this again, or you gonna feel like, okay, well, I just failed. You're gonna evaluate whether it hurt enough to not do it again, or if you think you might can get better. You know what I mean? So like, I'm with that. My wife, she ain't with that. That's my wife with no, get down every time she come over there and I be sitting with him. He's standing on top of the 4-wheeler jaw. Like, I see him. He right there. I see him.
He got a decent balance.
Hey, he be killing it though, but he be killing that you.
At a certain point, you're gonna get tired of saying get down. I'm gonna tell you now. He 3. I'm like, look, you know what's up, bro. You know that floor hurting. You know, like I know.
Right.
You know that stove hot, cuz. I done told you. You done seen it.
So Dave, you letting either one of your sons sneak Shorty in the back door and you moving the camera for him?
Not moving the camera. That's foul. I need to know exactly what time you came in. I'm not trying to miss shit. If you sneaking something in, I'm not trying to miss that you snuck in at 10:45. Like that's late as fuck, little cuz. Like I ain't gonna hold you,
little cuz.
But what's crazy is that really was the code when we was growing up, bro. That was the code.
Get that on the other side now.
Was that the code?
Like, okay, put it like this: if I would have went to my dad's house, that's the type of stuff my dad was on. Like he wouldn't care.
Telling you.
Like,
not at my house.
Bro, my dad and my mom weren't together either. That's the other portion.
Yeah.
I know for a fact my dad. When I the last time I got kicked out and had to go and live with my pops, I want to say I was like,
hey, I got a question.
Hold on, let me just get this off real quick.
I got a question.
Like 10th grade, I ain't have no joint. I ain't know he was with all of the shits. Like I didn't know. Then he came to me and he was like, "Bro, are you gay?" I was like, "What do you mean?"
That's okay.
He was like, "Oh, you ain't had nothing over here." Like I'm like, "Bro, I ain't know that was cool. I wasn't mom, dude. You know what I mean? I ain't know." And then we figured it out from there. Once I knew it was the green light, you know what I mean? Pops, that's how Pops is.
Different households.
See, that's Pops to throw the alley for the Joel. He was.
That's my question though. Is like,
body.
Oh shit.
You doing props or you just doing parlays?
Prop bets.
Okay. Are we back? We live? Okay, shit.
Damn. And like that, that
Well-
was a quick intermission. I think Johnny left off with some kind of question you wanted to say.
Yeah, well, yeah, my question was gonna be based on like we was talking about like the certain fathers and like their willingness to like let their sons have, you know, in relations and it'd be a little more open. But do you think that was dealing with the fact that it was separate households, and was that like a tactic for fathers to bond with their sons?
That's a good. I think that it was the culture, though. I think that it was a bit of the culture of how men dealt with men, and I think that also like. But I do think that that was a part of the dynamic, because when you separated from your father, like your father wants to be more cool.
He wants to build that bond with you.
And I remember, bro, it's so easy for like when you're not with your kids for you to OD in like certain other areas because you're not able to be present for others. I found myself falling into that too, like being more willing to buy different things and being more willing to, you know what I mean? It's a different level. So I can say that like there is some truth to that as well. And I think that socially men were just different during that time. Like these 50-year-old dudes, you know what I mean, 55-year-old men now, like they just had a different relationship as men and understanding as men than we kind of growing into now.
I agree, honestly.
So what up?
Yeah. So what's up? Where we going now?
Got some more memes? Or?
Yeah, I guess it's me. Hey, Tone, you can do two things. One thing, could you close that door? Yeah. And then when you get the chance, could you pull up the memes?
Like shit too.
But what was we just at inside that conversation? Hey, matter of fact, and look like we got a couple people in here. Make sure y'all tap into the chat. Make sure y'all have engage in the conversation. But yeah, I think that going on to what Johnny had said, I do think that's a rarity that you would see a scenario like that in a 2-parent household.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's more so what you were speaking from, right?
Right.
The fact that like typically that's behavior when it's like separated. Because I know my pops wasn't doing that. It sounded like Johnny, your dad wasn't doing it.
Not at all.
Jay, are you a 2-parent or 1-parent household?
My mom was a single mother, so
okay.
But I know my father, like I don't know him like that, but like I know who he is on earth. And I probably could have got away with a murder in that bitch. You feel me? Like, like he a drinker, so he been drinking my whole life, smoking my whole life to this day. So it wasn't. He would have let that slide.
Gotcha. No, I dig it.
Do you think? Oh my bad.
No, hit it. Nah, you.
It just dawned on me because you said something earlier. Do you think that's like those fathers were doing that because they feared that their sons might turn out gay or something? Like, is that an underlining thing? Like, I need to see you get some pussy, nigga. I ain't gonna hold you.
I think that's interesting.
Well, I think that a lot of times that might be a big fear because
I think in general, I don't think that's 2-parent or 1-parent household. I think that most dads want to see their son be straight. That's one, and like pursue women inside like some version of the way.
But I feel like when it's a separated situation, I feel like the dads do a lot of overcompensating.
Yeah,
because your son's in a mostly female situation. Most times, you will see a dad overcompensating to be like, "All right, you was just over there with your mom for 2 weeks. Let me make sure I wear some of that off of you." And here, son, go ahead and get some because when you over here, it's cool.
Yeah,
cool. The word crazy.
Crazy word.
So we got one comment, and then we can hop into I got a couple of them. Have a little fun.
My mic, they say love has limits. Says blessings.
Okay.
Blessings.
Bless.
All right. So Tone, if you can, I like for you to go to the one where it's the baby and the dad. Hey fellas, this is a live show. Sometimes shit happens.
Yeah, facts.
Been crying a lot lately.
Sometimes shit happens. That explains a lot.
There you go, Johnny. Not Johnny, Tone.
Okay.
All right, let's hit that reset. I think that this was fun, especially me having
been crying a lot lately, and it's a pitiful sound. I'm thinking, when will my littlest figure it out? I've been having significant doubt, so I gotta go hard on this kid since you want to be a difficult child. Whoever said you sleep in your crib, that's cradle cat. Hit you while you sleeping, that's cradle cat. Do your dome dirty, that's cradle cat. My days is whack, cause my nights is long. I would spray this baby, but nah, I'm gonna let you wet yourself in the face like you do when I'm trying to put your diaper on. You don't let us sleep, and that ain't great for your mama. You disrupting rim like a Dikembe level great shot blocker and breaking up cycles like stopping generational trauma. Boy, you still need the nipple. You get on and feed a little just to sneak a nibble, but then squeeze and tickle just to see him jiggle. You ain't slick. You need to simmer because you lacking with all them shouts and them hollers. Crazy how we cutting you off from the source just to put you on powder and bottles. But I can't tell you more than I can show. Sit back and eat this lesson. I'm giving you the formula for growth. You've been crying a lot lately.
That's it.
It's a pitiful sound. I'm thinking.
No, that was hard.
Yeah, he stole it.
Yeah. No.
I feel like you say he stole it?
Yeah.
I feel like I heard that same exact joint too before.
You said I think he's probably the one that originated. If somebody probably took
say that baby got 24.
No, he got like 5 rounds of this.
He stole it.
Okay.
All of them. No, I don't know who had it first, but I definitely heard the black dudes. I seen that one first.
Was it like the exact bars? You talking about the concept?
No, I can't say it was the exact bars. I would say it's the concept. I don't know if it was the exact bars or not, but I know it's the concept.
Damn, this nigga. He Elvis. That's crazy.
He Elvis.
Yeah. All right. Well, since we are now talking black and white relations, let's go to our weekly Dr. Umar update. Not that one. Let's start with what's the Omar lady up at the top left? Yeah. This is the Umar post. That's why I shouted Umar.
AOC and Ilhan Omar and Kamala Harris and that Supreme Court lady. If white men are the greatest threat to America, why do you keep marrying them?
Our country should be more fearful of white men across our country because they are actually causing most of the deaths within this country.
What's being labeled as terrorism is almost exclusively coming down to the identity. And it seems as though white men invoking white supremacy and engaging in mass shootings are almost immune from being labeled domestic terrorists in their violence.
And realize the biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized right up to the right.
There is no vaccine for racism. We have got to do the work.
Just have a question for AOC and
I don't know. I guess react. I think Johnny, you also wanted to ask a question the other week about was it a prerequisite for black conservatives to have white women? Wasn't that something you said something like that?
I did not say.
Maybe this was on the other show, but you definitely had that one. I was like, oh shit, Johnny going to it. Okay, I like that. Well, since you don't remember that, hey Johnny, you're black and conservative. How do you feel about white women?
I'm not black. Well, I'm black.
So I'm not black.
I'm black.
Because you forgot what you were supposed to deny.
I'm black. I'm not conservative. I'm an independent. I don't care about none of these parties. Because parties are stupid. Like we can get into that. So I'm a black man in America. Period.
You sure?
I ain't got no political allegiance to either one of the parties.
You forgot about the other part of the question I asked. But go ahead.
What about like white women? About white women. Look, the question was about white men, and white men are the terrorists. And I think like that has, I mean, it's funny. It is funny that they say white men the biggest terrorists out here, but they all married to him, Don Lemon included.
That's crazy. Don Lemon actually
he married to a white man.
I didn't know that. I didn't know Don Lemon wasn't straight. I didn't know that. That's not important to me, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, I feel like all like what was it like the little New Year's Eve thing?
Yeah,
he always have his.
He kissed the man on New Year's.
Oh no, I didn't see that.
Like the world.
Yeah. I didn't see that.
Oh, that was him doing the tongue kissing joint. They were showing that this.
That was.
I don't know if it was tongue kissing.
Nah, bro, they full on.
Well, no, not this year. But that wasn't Don Lemon this year. But
what's the point of having that on the? You talking about on like the live countdown joint?
Every New Year's they show it like a.
They all get smacked, to be honest. Like, but if you make it to 12 o'clock, they all be drunk as hell. By 12:30, you could just stand on there and it's shit about looking at a live. Like, you know how niggas that do anything on a live?
That's crazy.
That's how it be. ABC, NBC, they all be lit.
Yeah, I don't be paying them folks no attention. But yeah, where you going from here, brother?
Why not go with another Dr. Umar? Let's get it spicy a little bit. Well, real quick, I guess before we get there, just want to ask Real. Want to tap back in last week. I think that we had some fun with the interracial conversation.
It's so funny how you could tell Brad be like, yeah, nah, I'm cool on that joint. And he don't care nothing about whether or not you cool on it or not. He just gonna come back and throw that out there anyway. Well, we can entertain it.
I'm just throwing it like if you want to like just catch the alley and pivot and pass it back off.
Oh no. What I will say is
I just want to see if you want to kind of like
I will say is I did say some things, which is it's live. You know what I mean? I don't come with no pre-thought out John, and you know what I mean? I'm not person. I don't mind saying when I disagree with something that I said previously. I still agree that like as far as who you love, I don't care whether it be a black person or a white person or Asian person. I believe that it's hard enough to find a person that you can rock with that has the same moral compass and is on the same page with you. It's hard enough to find anyone on the same page, let alone trying to add extra criteria that somebody got to check. You got to be straight because I'm straight. That means that we have to start there. Then you got to be black. Then you got, you know what I mean? When you start the more you add the smaller population of people that you have and the lesser chance that you'll have to ever find the thing. So what I'll say is that love can be found in many different places, and bro, as I'm speaking to men, wherever you can find your peace at, wherever you can find, you know what I mean, a reciprocal emotional contribution, and you go with that. That's what I'm saying. That I start going on my little rant and doubling down way too hard. But I am still for black love. Like at the end of the day, I am for black love. If you find it in that vessel and that's what you want, that is great. That is amazing. But I have no knock for someone to find it in any other vessel.
Okay.
And that's what I kept that up.
No, sounds good. Real quick, I love to throw this out. Any of the guys that got ladies, because I'm sure most guys don't necessarily watch this on their free time. Any of y'all familiar with Love Is Blind?
I never seen it, but I heard of it.
They're doing so. They're doing a Charlotte season. So I've seen some people that know some of the contestants and stuff like that. I think it's a Netflix show or whatever.
It's not the one where they get married, is it?
I think so.
Off
of like never seeing the person,
or
whatever. And I was thinking because this was like such an interesting like concept, like Love Is Blind, right?
Mm-hmm.
Never mind, I ain't gonna jump off the cliff.
You already set the damn cliff up.
Jump off. I'll jump. I'll jump.
Cuz got us counting down at the don't want to jump.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was tiptoeing it, but just in spirit of getting us canceled, I like to ask this question, right?
I don't want to do that though.
So don't jump or jump.
No, I mean jump, but don't get us canceled.
It's a sticky one. Let's see how I can make it. Let's see how we can make it work.
You got to jump.
All right, so
you said
walk the tightrope.
So the concept of the show, right? The concept of the show is that you meet a person that you never see. You just like falling in love off of the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you end up like meeting like 3 or 4 different people, and you kind of like find out which person you like based off of what they say in their conversation, and everything like that. So tell me, and I think maybe at the end you have to decide to get married. Maybe you see him once and then you decide to get married or something like that. Like the whole idea is like falling in love with the person before you've ever seen exactly who they look like, what they look like. Yeah. So that took me to like such an interesting little mind space. I'm like, damn, huh? So imagine if Rail, Johnny, Day, y'all was on this show and you met or like you was listening to and talking to like this woman and you fell in love with this woman, right? And like it comes down and they do the reveal and be like, boom.
Respution.
Well, and then they say it's like flags in the back, like all kind of color flags in the back, right? And they be like, in the spirit of women being women and all women being women, just let you know that she is a real woman too.
Cause.
And then like, would you then? Hopefully you got it. He told me not to.
I ain't going.
He told me not to get us canceled. But how would that make you feel if you fell in love with the
No, bro.
That type of thing has to be disclosed before I even do this.
Bro, yeah, that's
Okay.
crazy, bro. Like that's.
I was just thinking, especially if they feel that the popular narrative in Hollywood right now is trans women and women, right? If we just speak directly to the point.
Physical touch is one of my love languages, so I wouldn't be able to fall in love. Like I wouldn't be able to fall in love. No, all I'm saying is if I ain't never touched or seen this person, I'm not gonna be able to fall in love.
But what if you were like almost like
no?
How would you feel having had those intimate conversations? Would you be cool with that?
But it's still not love, bro. It's just like it's not.
Yeah, no, you trying you trying to go too far. This is how the hate crime stuff is coming out.
Oh damn!
It got to be disclosed.
It got to be
full disclosure.
Yeah, because it's just not. It's not a healthy space for anyone.
No, I was just wondering. I think that's with the whole concept of love.
Can't do. I thought you were just gonna say shorty ugly. You win.
Yeah.
But I think
that's what I thought it was going to.
That's the expected. Everybody knows. Everybody's like, dang, she got such a pretty voice. She come out BBW, knock me, bear built. You know what I mean? Like the whole entire gambit. But this is perfect. We got some smoke up there. I think we got some good conversation. Tone, let's get into these comments.
Ooh, let's see.
I'm interracial, was raised by a single black mother in a small town, often misunderstood for being white.
Okay.
I'm interracial, was raised by a single black mother in a small town.
I guess you have to give us some context to what you was responding to. And it looked like we got one more before we can kind of hop in.
This from the Granville Richards show. Shout out Granville Richards.
Yep.
Shout out.
What is that?
He was just laughing.
There's one more.
Yes, there's another.
So the next one said, in a small town, I experienced racism from white folks, often for being half black. Which conversation was this referring to?
I know we were speaking about interracial dating, probably like inside more of a joking manner, but or maybe this kind of like piggybacks to like that whole idea of like erasing the idea of America being a racist.
They go another one.
Okay, clarify.
Like I moved to a bigger city and now I experience hate from black folks for being half black.
Oh, we getting inside a good colorism conversation. Y'all want to dive in, or we want to wait for a little bit?
Based on location. Curious to hear y'all perspective on this.
So, Johnny, do you think that this ties closer into like your question, or do you want to y'all want to?
No, this doesn't have nothing to do with my question. Not this week.
So,
I found it. I don't know. Like, I'm not. Well, I want to apologize for the idiots in our society that have made you feel away. Number one, but it's crazy to hear it to have gone from one side to the other, and based on location. Because I would have assumed when she said he or she said the first time that being around white people that you've heard that where you heard like a story where white people didn't accept them because they was half black. You know what I mean? But I'm not myself. I haven't.
I hear the other side as well often.
I think
that's good.
My bad. I'm sorry. I apologize. I think it's a lot about like her actual skin tone. If she's a lighter phenotype. Woman, then like the black people ain't gonna look at her like she's black because they're gonna look at her and identify the whiteness in her. those white people are gonna look and identify that you are a touch darker than you should be.
Yeah, you got that wide nose and them lips, girl.
You feel me? You can run a little faster, but it's not long distance though, just faster. And they got something about that in their knees. I don't know why, but I think it. I hear a lot of that from mixed friends. Like, I ain't black enough for the black people, and I ain't white enough for the whites. Man, yeah, I'm like,
that's like a very popular, like contemporary conversation that I've heard a lot. Same different with like the whole logic thing, where it gets picked on both sides, pretty much.
Well, I mean, that's something I've even experienced. Is like coming from where I come from, where I grew up, man, mostly white folks, and a lot of people look at me like I'm not really black because of where I come from.
Too white, you look too light skinned.
It ain't even about the skin complexion. It's about the experience. Like, but like that's something I've always dealt with. Like, even growing up, I remember like
they used to call you Uncle Tom.
Nobody said that, but like nobody said that.
Serious, bro. But you know, growing up, you know when
nobody said that, but
ain't hood.
But I'm just saying, like growing up, like having white friends and growing up around white people, I remember coming back to the hood and like they'd be like, "Oh, you was around the white folks, you ain't this," and then anytime I'm around like the white folks, it's always I wasn't always white, so it's always been a space that I've personally lived in. Now you can look at my skin color and like I'm blacker than most black.
So you should have let them. You should have checked them, bro. How they gonna question you about being black?
Because you could just the way you're raised though. Like, I mean, if
I think they talking about culturally.
Yeah, like if you don't come from the hood, just because I look black, if I don't not doing the things other black people are doing,
that nigga Johnny talking white.
Of course, people are gonna have a question. But like the things I was doing didn't make me black, or the people I hang out with, I'm blacker than most people in general.
So Johnny, did it make you ever lean or try and overcompensate the other way? Like try and do like some extra nigga shit or hang out with like niggas that are a little bit more unsavory.
Oh, absolutely.
Would you do better?
Absolutely, yes. And then
slavery is crazy.
And then eventually I came back and like even to some of the niggas I was hanging around when I was like I still like they're still my people. Like I don't like disown them or nothing, but I was hanging out with y'all trying to be like a street nigga, like even though that's not where I come from, but I felt like me being that it made me more who I was, but I was always who I am regardless. It ain't had nothing to do with who I was hanging out with, what I was doing, or you know, any activities I was participating in. I'm a black man no matter what. Ain't nothing gonna change that. So I can think whatever. I can believe whatever, hang out with whoever. I'm still gonna be a black person. And I think a lot of times we miss that as black people when we try to define what blackness is. It has to look a certain way. And if you're not within that box of what it looks like, then you're not black. And that's a dangerous thing because blackness comes in a whole lot of different forms and shapes. And it's not just what we think it is. It's everything that's black.
And I think that this like I don't know if y'all remember, but that was one of the things of like us starting the podcast. It was one of the things that we talked about was the fact that like we come from we come from different places, believe different things. It's just to show how multifaceted black people are, and it's not like and I hate that. I hate that, like, you know what I mean? That and it's all like negative shit. It ain't never like, oh, what's the positive thing that you can say outside of sports? You can say is being black that we, you know, in that past time where that was the thing. Hopefully we get. I feel like we're getting further away from it. But I think that like y'all know what I'm talking about. Like that place where it was always just some ignorant shit. And it was funny because I had a white guy, a white young boy. He's like 20 years old, 22 years old, and he asked me, "How do I feel about white boys acting black?" Right. And so when he said it, I was like, I think I might just go ahead and learn them something real quick. So I was like, it depends on what you mean by acting black. What does that mean? I don't know what you mean when you say that. And he immediately got defensive because he knew what he was meaning. You know what I mean? And it was everything that we had been saying the whole time. He was talking about just ignorant shit. You know what I mean? And so honestly, it was just an aha moment for him. I appreciate being able to give him that because he's not racist. You know, I don't believe this boy is racist. I think that just where he comes from and just the culture and everything that we hear, it just made you feel, you know what I mean? Like that sounded like a great question to him.
Well, we live in a racist country, so like
we live in a limited space though. As black people, we aren't given the knowledge about the actual culture we come from. Like, I know my grandmother Caribbean. I know my other grandmother's grandmother came from Africa, right? So I know like small bits about exactly who I am, but a lot of people don't have that knowledge about exactly what it is that they come from to identify that, okay, now that's black. That rice and peas, that's black. That's
Shout out
not
to Caribbean Hut. Just had that shit on Friday.
Caribbean Hut Five, but shout out Irie Nation.
Irie Nation.
Irie Nation, yeah.
Hey, listen, Caribbean Hut, they probably the largest 10, and they throw the jerk on it. Listen, they go crazy on it. I ain't gonna lie to you. My bad, I ain't want to do
no, because
but them rice and peas, I just had a flashback. I had the leftovers yesterday.
So that's real though. Like a lot of black people will identify that with just slave culture and not knowing that that comes from something so far back that you can't even
Before
fathom it
slavery.
right now. For real.
Tano people.
So we don't know a lot about exactly what black culture is. It's being redefined all the time. By fashion, by creativity, by invention. You know what I'm saying? We invented the first stoplight, but now it's got 3 lights or 4 lights and 5 sometimes. Like a black man invented that to create the traffic flow and help people. The super soaker has been done a million different times of ways now.
And I think that I'll say right now, I think that unless we go inside like closer to like Harlem Renaissance time, right now it's probably the most diverse it is accepted to be black right now.
Boom.
Like the diversity of what it is to be black right now is like you got the top 2 probably, because we're about to go crazy with that with his collab with, is that Louis? Is that yeah, Louis, like he's about to go crazy, like the shit that I forget Homeboy, but nonetheless, like the influence of black culture in general and how it's being sought out is really, really interesting. And it's not only inside like say like that early 2000s way where everybody wanted to do streetwear shit. Everything was like big and big. Y'all understand what I'm saying? So I ain't gotta like overly describe it, but that's
the kind of world culture.
Definitely.
They take the old stuff we do, and now it's like the world stuff. So,
bro, they doing drill music in Japan and fucking.
Bro, drill music isn't American though. We kind of stole that from the
UK,
but I saw this Asian dude, bro. I seen this Asian dude, bro, and I tried to see it, but it was on Facebook. They got some kind of way that they can make their hair. They can take the straightness out of it. Like I seen, I'm talking about had him. It was a hourly process joint, but bro came out. And he looked like me when I was back on the music scene, like with the fro, with the John, when everybody was using that little brush John. I'm like, bro, they just okay. I mean, dang.
But also, we can't steal something we started. Like hip hop was in Brooklyn. I mean, in New York in general, where all these DJs. So like UK love y'all, but y'all weren't rapping before niggas.
So we can't gentrify drill music.
How?
We didn't do it.
How we didn't do it?
They started it over there in UK.
Nah, I would dare say that. I'm like, but I would dare say if you look at about the history of anything, we started like everything.
Oh well, all right. So it is the black UK guys that did drill. So it's not like specific.
But I'm just saying like hip hop and rap in general. Like yeah, that's a cool subdivision. But so it's like heavy metal. It's rock and roll. Like yeah, that's y'all. Y'all got that. Y'all can scream and do all that crazy shit. But it's rock and roll music, and that derived from Lil Richard. That derived from
Chuck
Fats
Berry.
Domino. You know what I'm saying? Like
Muddy
it derived from these figures that was like us.
Yeah, no, I think that I don't disagree with it.
Box them up, Dave.
But you know everything is subdivisions now. Like everything is a sub of something
that was
else.
You, bro.
He was speaking.
You hopped in the box where you was talking about that it was what you were saying. It was. The drill started from UK. You said that, and he pretty much went ahead and wrapped you up in a nice box and threw some motherfucking styrofoam and some bubble.
I think Donnie was the one arguing with it. Like when he said it started, like if hip hop started in America. I
had some clarifying questions. I had some clarifying questions.
Yeah, no, I think that's like if you go with like something started anywhere, and that's like like how you start the conversation or the debate of it, then it's not really a thing of debate.
No. That's just like origin stuff.
Yeah, if you go like the origin stories, John.
For sure.
We got more memes, or we going to the questions?
What they got to.
I had a meme, but I can just ask the question in general because the meme was just based on like something Rick Rubin was talking about in an interview.
Okay.
Where the dude was like, yeah, you can pull it up right there if you want to play it. But I like the conversation they was having about emotion and creativity.
Ask you whether or not it's important to be happy in order to create. But certainly a lot of people that were unhappy were still able to create. But the more I listen to you, it seems that it's really about an ability to pay attention.
Yes.
So if I'm unhappy or if I'm happy may not be as relevant as whether or not I'm able to stay undistracted.
Yes. I would say being able to stay present in the work is probably the most important part of it.
I was going to ask you whether or not it's important to be happy.
I've written like.
Is that what Rick Rubin looks like now?
Facts. He's crazy.
He's been looking like that for a minute.
For a
now.
long time. You know what I'm saying? Since the 80s. But I've written beautiful, beautiful music while like completely sad or like whatever those other feelings are. And I've written some pretty awesome things while happy and overjoyed in these things. And I just kind of wonder as creatives, like where do you sit emotionally when you feel your best creatively? You know?
I think that for me, it's hard to create happy. I don't really like make music, and I'm usually not really motivated to make music if I have like all things going well in life. It's just like for me, I know it's like a really interesting thing. It's something that I definitely picked up on over the years when I was like really, really active. Typically, if I was in a relationship, my output dropped drastically. As soon as I was out of a relationship, I ain't doing it, but writing and making music and doing all the shits. And I think that for me, my source of inspiration often comes from like just like the cathartic feel of like deep introspective thinking and like describing like what is the feelings that I feel inside the pit of whatever. And I've never really gotten, or I never took enough time to learn how to express that positively. But I can critique things really, really well. And so I know for me, yeah, like if I'm like super happy, I'm not really motivated to go make my pen work. Like I be having like, even if I'm just trying to bar up,
yeah,
I need to find like an edge of like, I think I need to shit on this nigga or something like that. I need to make this verse better than that. And like it's still coming from like a competitive negative space. Or not necessarily happy, I guess, if that makes sense. That's me.
I was gonna say, me personally, when I found myself in my most creative, it's usually sparked by like a bout of depression, or it's usually me trying to get out of like a depressed, like a low. And so I get into that creative space, and that's where I'm able to like challenge a lot of those negative emotions. Is I usually try to, challenge them creatively, and that's what helps me get out. But a lot of time, like what Quint was saying, when I'm on the highs, a lot of time I find my outs aren't necessarily like the creatives, like the creative space, because I'm like on such a high. I don't really necessarily go to those creative spaces. I just use that energy to keep fueling myself. But when I'm low, and when I have been through those depression, my most creative times in life has been off of like some of my most depressed times. And so
bars be so fire.
So fire, like and everything just be
salty
so
raps.
So it just hits so hard. So for me, my creativity has been tied to like my depression and trying to overcome it, and just in my life personally.
That's crazy. And I understand. One thing that I will say is that me and Cube had this conversation previously, and I have seen like as stability comes close in, you grasp stability, and then you start to move even further beyond stability. It does. You can't. Well, at least I can't speak for anyone else, but basically, you know what I mean. It did kind of make the level of my want to push out creatively go away a little bit. But what I will say is that like back then when I was actually like active, I would like have to get on the other side of the thing and then rap about it in hindsight. So like for me, I had to come out of the hole to be able to really look at the hole and see the hole for what it was and really go back and reflect and like, you know what I mean? So like I would have some songs that may have like a dark like concept base, but it was still like a overcomer kind of feeling, you know what I mean? Like it would get to that. That was like kind of how I would, you know what I mean? Generally, that would be my inspiration coming out of seeing it on the other side and then looking back and being like, yeah, that was a thing. And I felt that way. But I'm good now and I feel comfortable speaking on it?
Nah, actually, I got like a similar perspective to that because, excuse me, I will always write like based on going through some hard shit because I felt like that was the easiest way to be identifiable with people or like to connect with people because I'm like we all going through something. But then I realized like how it felt to write those things and expose myself in a way, you know? And I feel like that was part of the problem for me personally. So what I started doing was I started taking those same issues that I was writing about and using like the very opposite perspective. So like quick story. It was like an ex-girlfriend, hadn't seen her in a while. I was like madly in love with her, saw her. I'm like, this ain't recent either. It's like some old shit. Seeing her, I'm like, I don't know if I want to be with her forever or whatever, but let's just like see where it goes. We had a moment, we kissed, and the kiss felt like nothing. And I was like kind of broken by that. So I just went for a walk and I began to sing a song about wanting a kiss that felt alive instead of experiencing a kiss that wasn't, you know? I think speaking to the thing that I wanted it to be or the thing that I wanted that I didn't realize that I wanted was a bit of the magic that I had to have with myself in order to like stay creative in some of those dark and happy moments or whatever it was. But I find both sides of it now because now that I got like kids and shit, like that just motivates me to just like stay in the pocket. You know what I mean? Like stay in there.
And I guess we can almost like use this a bit of a segue into was it? I don't think he had any more questions.
No, that was good. That was
Johnny,
Johnny, you had
he
something?
was finding that natural ooh-wop. Go ahead.
Oh no, I think you was better do it, but yeah, I think it's
and before we completely introduce you, I guess kind of piggybacking into this, I think we're segueing really nicely where I like to ask this question, and any artist inside the room, any previous artists, also feel free to answer. I like to speak to the idea of music or creativity's impact on your mental health. Yeah. So again, if y'all can, Day, I like to start with you.
Everything, bro, for real, because as a person who believes that I am an introvert, like that's what I believe of myself.
Okay.
The music is the way for me to like expand the thing that I'm holding within. So I get a chance to like share things that I probably wouldn't even say. Like I might have dropped a video like next week where I'm talking about some personal things, some people I know that got married, some things that was like really into myself that I haven't shared with anyone. But I got to put those very specific thoughts just on paper. So for my personal mental health and my personal things, I think it's like a beautiful thing to have a coping mechanism that works for me. At least one or two. Like I also believe in therapy, but this is a form of therapy if you believe in writing as such. But it's good for your mental health if you can be creative and have some sort of outlet, even if it's like breaking something. Like that's a form of art and entertainment, some way you got to do it. Like, but there needs to be an outlet. I think that's like just great for human people. Like,
yeah, gotcha. I don't know, Johnny. You want to hop in this or?
No, I mean personally, I made beats and stuff in the past. I ain't the biggest musician in the world, but for me, music's always been something where, like I've said, when I was depressed, I could always lean on it to help me express certain things that I wasn't able to put in words. So I mean, it's always been helpful. And like I said, there's certain situations and like even going through certain things. I was telling somebody, I was going through a breakup, and it was a certain Maxwell song that I couldn't listen to.
Pretty Wings.
Like I could not listen to that song. Like when I was going through the breakup, like it was just so perfect. Like I just could not listen to it. And then like a couple years later, I ended up listening to it and was like, damn, this is like the most perfect song ever. But I remember like hearing it and was like driving in the car, and this shit was on the radio, and I was like, I'll listen to it. And got about 30 seconds into that shit. Was like,
coming.
It's going to break me tonight.
I'm turning that shit off. I'm not trying to do it. So like,
is that pride?
It had. I don't know if it was pride. I just wasn't ready to deal with those emotions at that time, and like I just wasn't ready.
Did you ever deal with them?
Yeah, and that's why I can listen to the song now. But like at that point, it was just that's a lot. Like that's a lot because the song talks about like letting go and like if it's meant to be or even if it's not, you know, you gotta let go and let this motherfucker go and be their true self. And it's real positive and shit. And I wasn't trying to do that.
Johnny was hurt. What she do to you, Johnny? Can you disclose what she do to you, bro?
I've talked about it before.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the one that threw away my PlayStation that one time.
That's what murdered you? It was the PlayStation?
That wasn't it.
They was in a tit for tat war. That's that one, right? Y'all was just cheating on each other and shit.
Yeah, it was rough. It was a rough one. That was a toxic situation.
I'm grateful I never had one of those.
Yeah, that's
it was bad.
All of my Xboxes made it, bro. They made it.
You want to hit the comments? Or you want to go first?
Oh, you can go ahead to the comments. Let's go ahead. We go get too far.
I did it for myself. If it came out good to someone else, that was great. But my heart was always my heart. I didn't make it to make millions. I made it to make me happy.
Beautiful.
That's the way, for real.
Facts.
That's the way. Self-expression.
Like you might should go back to it, brother.
I think they just saying hip hop started in America, but rap is a subgenre of actual hip hop because hip hop can be. What was breakdancing? What is
graffiti?
It's DJing,
all the different forms.
All the forms. I think they're just saying like rap is a subgenre of the actual thing itself. That started in America. Yeah,
that's facts.
That's true.
Facts.
Shout out to KRS-One. He made thousands of documentaries about it.
So what y'all boys want to do? Y'all trying to hop in?
Mental health and music.
You know the crazy thing is that like it's been and this may be so like I pretty much just let it go. You know what I mean? And this it was crazy because what I always knew was that it was a form communicating was like or speaking was a thing that I love to do. I ain't gonna say I always knew that, but once rap was no longer it, and I started finding myself having these conversations that I love to have with people, because like no bullshit, like I used to feel like I was a weirdo during the time period when I was like, man, I feel like I'm just different than everybody, and I don't even want them to. I'd rather not be around them for them to even know. You know what I mean? Whether it, you know what I mean. So I convinced myself that I was so different that I would just kick it at the crib or do the show and I'm out. Like I was never like it felt awkward really trying to network and all of that stuff. I always felt awkward with that. So I was just like, bro, it's because in my mind I'm weird at the time. I know I'm weird. Now I used to say that all the time. Like I know I'm weird, so such and such and such. But like what happened was like there was a transition that happened where I just started being more open into having conversations with people. And in me doing that, it kind of shifted for me. So like I might pull a pin out every blue moon, but it's not like because I'm having these conversations so often. So you know what I mean? It's giving me what I needed, what I was getting from writing. You know what I mean? I'm actually getting real further into the meat and potatoes than I was when I was actually trying to articulate it on beats, because I was also like I made it for myself, but I was wanting people to rock. Like I was, you know what I mean? What you think about this? What you think about this? Now it's like to the point to where, yeah, it's just me. You know what I mean? For me, this feels much more natural. This feels much more natural to me. I don't mind being wrong. You know what I mean? All of this, I feel like this is more the new. For me, this is me just being human and then just being. This does it for me. You know what I mean? So that but music during that time period, it was necessary because I didn't have any. There was nothing else I could think that would drive me. You know what I mean? It definitely pushed me. It gave me goals when I had none. It was a time where I was just like coming home from the military. I come home from the army and we was kind of playing around with rapping before I went. You know what I mean? Me, Q, and Tone playing around with rapping. As a matter of fact, I had been rapping a little bit before that, but we was playing around with it. Then I go to the military and come back and we're doing. That's what Q. He's already tapped in on what we was talking about beforehand. Come home and it just. You know what I mean? But then, like I say, I kind of found my footing, and it wasn't necessarily on a 808 or 2 and 4 at this point.
I think this was like a proper, and I won't say transition because I think you guys could still like do your music if you want to, obviously. But I think it was like a cool transition for y'all, especially because when I listened to y'all's music back then, it was so candid. Like a lot of people weren't making like actual candid music. Like even when you were talking, you were like. you were talking through your own emotions in some of those songs. I could hear the introspective in yours. I could hear the storytelling and some of the things that you're saying in this shit that sounds soulful. I'm like, damn, like these niggas do sound different than everybody else. Good. I see Cuz perform with a band. That was before anybody was really doing that shit back then, bro. Like, I'm like, nobody was doing that shit, bro.
Now everybody's like, after Free Will, you start seeing it as like trying to be the setup.
Bro.
And I'm not saying first to my knowledge, you know what I mean?
Nah,
If y'all was in the circle, don't, hey, I ain't trying to make nobody feel away.
I am,
but I'm to my knowledge.
It's like talking about Cuz. You weren't doing it like Cuz.
No, you wasn't doing it like that.
That's what
that's
I know.
true.
That's what I know. I was there.
Nah, I appreciate it. What I'll say, going back just to the general question of mental health and music, I know for me, because even right now I'm finding myself enjoying just writing shit on my phone, rapping over beats, challenging myself, in which over the past few years is definitely, even though like I would still find pockets where I'll write, but just doing it I found is something that I miss, and it does settle my mind a lot. And I think just going to like what you were saying, like in general, me writing, sometimes I can get out better emotion exactly how I feel than just me talking and logicking through it. Like to me, I can logic everything, and like that's the easy thing. When it comes down to like actually writing out and making sense out of emotion and situation, because that's typically just how writers like dry logic, emotion, situation would happen. And just making some sense out of it, I get some level of fulfillment, and it does help me process things a lot. And like in reflecting, and now I'm kind of like getting to a point where I'm like excited just to just put things down. And to me, I don't care if it ever come out, if it do, if it don't, whatever. But I've noticed that the idea of creating, and creating over 808s and 214, for me, there is some satisfaction that does come from that mentally, and just mental health wise.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think perfect time to throw to Johnny. We got a guest. He done dove into all our conversations. We're gonna pick who he is and kind of some of the things that he does. So I'll throw it to Johnny. What you got for us?
We got
introduce the guest. My bad. You ain't gotta have shit for us.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know what you wanted me to say right there, but I was gonna say, hey, we definitely appreciate Dave Brown for Oh yeah, hit that right there. We definitely appreciate you pulling up for us. We're gonna get into some questions later on, but I wanted to, kind of throw the ball into your court and see what questions you might have had for us.
First, let's actually allow Dave Brown to kind of talk through. So I know that artist, songwriter, engineer.
For sure.
So let's do a quick kind of rundown, introduction into music, and then just lead us to where you're at right now. And yeah, go ahead.
But one thing I want to know before, just started out with where you're from and how you got here,
Yeah.
and then mold us from there.
Yeah, originally I'm from like New York, like Brooklyn.
Okay.
And then mom's was like, it's too hood. She had 3 boys. I'm the youngest, so my brothers is like 10 years older than me already. So they was like literally gang banging and thugging and doing things they probably should not have been doing at a young age.
Yeah, that's what brought us down.
I was the one. She was like, "Oh, this shit ain't happening again." Like for the 3rd time. But life be life, and anyways. But so we get here, and I started rapping in elementary school. Like that was my rap name. It was Elementary. Because that's what I would do. I would just be rapping with my brothers. Like I'd be listening to them, listening to like Beanie Siegel and all these old rappers and shit, bro. I'm listening. I would just go in the room and like scribble little lines down to myself and rehearse it, and then go outside. When they would go outside and rap in their rap circles, and they like, damn, how he rapping about shorties dancing and shit. I'm like, I'm just listening to them. I don't even know what these words mean.
right.
But I know
that time.
I know they rhyme. Like they go good. As soon as I get a reaction, I'm like, okay, keep that one. We'll put that in the next one. Boom, boom, boom. So life started out like that. But then really, 12, I started dancing professionally. Like I could really
forget about that.
My boy be cutting. That's what I said, professional rug cutter.
Yeah,
like,
so like
I didn't know he was actually professional, but he was cold. When I was like, what, Amnesty? You already that rappage?
I did commercials. I done did a movie or 2. I did.
You was serving niggas?
For sure. Lots of dance battles, lots of game tape on that. I ain't gonna lie to you, but
game tape. Gotta check the footage.
Sure,
He got a highlight reel cut.
Definitely, bro. Definitely. But that was like once I realized that like I was already in, I didn't want to dance no more because I was like being in the background just ain't cool for me personally. Like I never felt like a background kind of person.
Yeah.
I might put myself there to play my position because I really love to learn. Like that's even how I started engineering because I was like, bro, I know how to write a song and record it, but I didn't know how to really make a record, how to make a song, how to make it sound good, all the elements that go into like creating a really, really actual record, like all the things, even promotion, all the things that go into it, bro. I ain't know, but then I got in the background and found out. So being in the background and dancing just had me find out that like, oh, this ain't for me, dog. I'm trying to be Justin Timberlake. He doing the same dance moves we doing, but he's singing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be Omarion. He doing the same dance moves we doing.
Touch.
But they screaming his name.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody screaming for me when I'm in the background. So I'm like, nah, that can't work, cuz I ain't gonna hold you. So I started making music, joined a rap group. That fell apart because egos. I never.
Oh damn, that was gifted music?
Yeah.
Okay.
Egos and shit, bro.
Oh,
like,
okay. I remember.
I never wanted to be the leader, but the talent said so.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I never wanted to be the person out in front, but the talent dictated where I was. I was Omarion, nigga. Like, I'm sorry, cuz like, but
he was cold.
But I didn't. I never wanted to be in that position. I'd rather be like an accompaniment. You know what I mean? Like something in the background that just make everything else look good. Like because I like being low key and just minding my business.
Yeah.
But the talent was like, you work harder than them. You need to keep rolling. And I'm still like the only one like really getting to this chicken with it. So
I dig it, and I think that there's a few people outside of like our circle of people that was on the Charlotte scene when we was there that I was like, this is one of those guys. Like the talent just screams out of him.
Definitely.
I think Callus was one of them. I thought that you was one of them
for sure.
Well, like
Fit was one.
Yeah.
Fit wasn't all the way in the scene, but Fit was cold too during that.
I hadn't really heard a lot of him. Like I've seen him perform and heard records. Like his records that I remember the name of right now. I'm like, that's one of my junks right there.
Yeah.
And like definitely just like the diversity of your sound always is one of those things. Because you
thank you.
Like you had the rap voice, you could sing, and then you could rap in different ways. Like some people could only rap specific ways. Where like you can kind of do the commercial thing, you could do like the rap thing, and you could put a song together.
And that was my thing. Like you can tell when somebody been doing it for a long time. Well, like when they kind of lived the thing.
Yeah.
And it was really apparent. It was like the amount of talent that you had at that and have. You know what I mean? It was definitely apparent at that time. It's like, okay, this nigga singing too. It wasn't even thinking like, bro, why would
my nigga D'Angelo on this motherfucker right
you cheating though? Like, and then it's the stone joint.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, you ain't supposed to be able to rap. And then first off, you could
had a pocket track
rap.
Yeah.
And then you can, you know what I mean, on a pop record rap type joint. And then you're gonna start singing. And then you can do a pop singing record and do the smooth soul on R&B. And then be in there cutting real. Come on, bro.
Got too many bags.
Too many
bags.
On average, a millionaire has 6 incomes.
Talk to him.
On average. That's just the bare minimum. Ain't never too much bags.
Ain't too many bags.
Ain't too many bags at all.
Yeah. I do have a question off of something that you just said. Something that I have noticed is like there's like a different kind of creativity that I've seen from dancers that rap. Do you think that you dancing and kind of like being inside like that space impacted you in kind of like whether it's how you found the rhythms or whatever? But it's like I said, all the dancers that I know that rap be like creative, like really creative.
Is that part right there what you said? It's the rhythms, bro. When we're like trained to be dancing, a lot of times niggas ain't dancing to the words. And if they are dancing to the words, they're dancing to a boom, kick, and then he said, and the right here. You know what I'm saying? So like these things don't go together when you just say that to someone sonic, like boom, kick, and the nigga said, get him. Like that's what we're dancing to, and then it's back to a boom, click, snap. Then you hear a hi-hat in the back, tit tit. So now as a rapper, I'm hearing cadences and flows, especially in beats where I'm like, and I grew up listening to like Jay-Z, Biggie, like these are my favorite people, Big L. This is the thing I grew up listening to. So I'm hearing this shit is like in slow motion for me. I gotta get into it. Like whatever is going to happen now, it can just happen through me. Like I'm the vessel for whatever message is about to be conveyed sonically. Before it was a visual thing, and I no longer had to be a visual artist. Now I can be a sonic artist. I can create things in a recording that I can't do in a dancing. I can't do a background in a dancing. I can't do different types of layers. I can't create a harmony by myself when I'm dancing, but I can do that sonically. I can create these different pathways, these different sounds, these different streams of thought that are going to work. And I definitely think it's because of the dancing that led me like sonically just to hearing different things in the music to be able to use it like for cadence, for drums, for flow. And especially because like I'm a big flow, like I don't like going too fast or too slow. I like to just sit in that thing, like kind of let it rock, bro. And then find ways to snake in and out of that. Like the dancing helped tremendously. I ain't gonna lie. Light years ahead.
So I got a question for you, right? So and this is a little bit, it's not this, it's still on the music scene pivot, but I feel like there was in the scene, there was like a disconnect from artist to artist. I feel like there was a disconnect. That was like some, like I don't know if it was like pride or if it was ego, to where like we really didn't connect. And it, because I feel like during that time period, that was a movement that could have been, because we wasn't the dudes that really was getting banned from the shows. The shows that we was doing, we wasn't the dudes that was breaking the stages and shit at the rabbit hole, and these dudes that was doing all this getting shootouts in the parking lots, and like that wasn't what we wasn't a part of that crowd that was like kind of getting into the shit. That was like a solidified movement that was during that time period. I feel like if we could have banded together a bit more, you know what I mean, we could have like pushed that thing a lot further. For sure. What would you say? Like, what were some things that would like kind of made it like to where everybody wasn't working with each other, features with different people, and like moving in that way as like a collective movement for the city?
I'll say two things. One, as a person who like does the rap thing, I'm like highly competitive. So I just never felt like niggas wanted to rap next to me personally, because I'm gonna do all the things. I'm going to sing, nigga. I'm going to rap.
You go sing and rap on the whole, just your verse, bro. I'm not putting you on the record, bro.
I think it was a lot of that. And then I just don't think like at that particular time, culturally, as a little city, as a little sound, that we had like a leader. We don't necessarily need one leader, but we need a direction. We need someone who's like, hey, if we put this, that, and this together, who says we can't tour around North Carolina? And then take that to South Carolina, and then take that to Georgia and Atlanta. Who says we can't then tour the whole East Coast? It ain't that big. It's like, but we didn't have like a sense of like real direction. And then it felt like everybody wanted to be Kobe or LeBron or the nigga to hit the home run. You wanted to be King Griffey Jr. You wanted to be whoever it was standing out front. And then, but nobody was the person that was big enough to actually stand out there and be like, this what we doing, y'all. Get behind me. Support it or don't support it, but this what we doing. Like, this is how it needs to go. But that's how it was back in the 90s. It was 8 or 9 homies. One nigga rapped. Everyone else sold drugs, bro. Everybody paid for the studio time. We're going in here, about to pop some bottles, get some girls, bruh finna rap his ass off, and there you have it, Jay-Z, nigga. Like,
I got a question for you, bro. Because I think what happened in the Charlotte scene, because I was around, I kind of seen, I remember seeing everybody. I even told you earlier about we was all in the transparent video and shit. So like we go back. Crazy. That was a time, yeah. But I think to me what happened in the Charlotte music industry is like once the baby blew, it seemed like nobody else wanted to come up under the baby, and maybe because everybody know what happened with the baby. He, caught a couple bodies and then he took off, and it seemed like that was so untouchable that nobody else in the Charlotte scene wanted to even try to
I don't really agree with that at all.
Let me tell you,
Pick up
honestly,
some men.
The
one
way
of
you
the
say
things-
caught a couple bodies was so casual. It's crazy though.
That's what happened.
I know.
That's what happened.
That's so casual.
But you know, and at the end of the day,
I
I
don't
rock
agree
with
with that.
I rock with the city. You know what I mean? I rock with the city, and
But why nobody else came after him then?
I'll tell you too, because I just got some people that be in the labels, and they probably not even gonna want me to say this, but like they wanted the sound of Charlotte to be that sound, and it's not that sound.
And that's what, honestly, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah, Johnny
I
was
literally was about to say that. Like
the baby
I
was for the East, like what the East Side Family Matters niggas was doing. Like
Yeah.
that's him, but the
Yes.
rest of Charlotte really wasn't that sound.
Bro, I swear I was hoping that the sound of Charlotte was not gonna be that, because I don't really. But
For
like
real.
I say, bro, peace and blessings too, brother.
Sure.
You know what I mean? You doing your thing, keep doing your
No,
thing. But like for me, bro, I wanted the sound of Charlotte to be what we was doing.
Yeah,
I wanted
like
that to be what we was doing. Like I thought that was gonna be like, you know what I mean? To me, that's more Charlotte. Like, cause like if you think about it, even the niggas that was raised on Bakersfield Road, like there's still a duality within all of this. You know what I mean? When you come from even being in the hood in Charlotte, you ain't no like an ignorant hood. Even if you listen to him, he ain't just no dummy.
At
You
all.
know what I mean? He can actually rap too if he want to. But it was just that sound that that did the thing for him. You know what I mean? And I was like, I love like one of I wish I could remember the name of that De Niro Ferrara song that I like the most, when he was like in some other country in the mountains doing cartwheels on the bridge, and like it was like a Gemini, something of
Yeah.
Gemini.
Mind of a Gemini.
Mind of a Gemini.
Yeah.
Like to me, that's his coldest record. I love that sound I feel like that is Charlotte. Like there's a bit of grit there's some grit, because like you ain't gonna just niggas around here ain't just puss. But at the same time, niggas ain't really trying to be on all that extra type time all the time. And if you from Charlotte, like I've been Charlotte, you know what I mean?
De Niro used to get active too, though.
Oh no, I'm not saying niggas don't get active. You know, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying like it's a bit more of a duality to the thing than just like we just gonna do this because this on hood and this on gang. You know what I mean? It's not like that. Ain't really Charlotte. In my opinion, just from
I agree with the duality part.
Yeah.
I do think that his sound and that sound was for sure still really Charlotte.
Yeah.
Like it's a bunch of like I used to call it like the East Side Family Matters crew, and like
when I say that, but hold on, let me just clarify this, and you can keep going. But when I say Charlotte, I don't mean like it doesn't exist in Charlotte. What I'm saying is like the general, just the.
I think more of that is closer than like the boom bap. I think what people like. So what Charlotte consumes is a lot of Boosie. It was a lot of 3-6. It was like we like trap music here as well.
Mm-hmm.
But there is also like same way Atlanta had Crunk and Outkast. Like typically like real good cities that have really good musical cultures have like both sides of it. And I think that Charlotte had that. And it was really a race to which side was going to blow first. And you had Luke and you had the baby. The baby blew further in first. Luke kind of still got on, and he's doing what he's doing as like a Dreamville artist, but the baby was out of here.
And I won't say, and I'll let you have this real quick. And I'm not saying that there's not trap music, that Charlotte doesn't love trap. Because remember when Miss Amy was here, we asked her what she thought the sound of Charlotte was. You know Miss Amy, right? Yeah. So like we asked her what she thought the sound of Charlotte is, and she said it's like witty trap music. We like trap drums, we like eights, we like the girthiness and the sound of the trap sound, but then there's a level of like witty, like you know what I mean, like a bit of wit that comes with it as well. That's like that makes that thing like a, you know what I mean. It's not just shoot 'em up, bang bang. It's like also like it's got a little bit more layers to it.
I don't know a lot of Charlotte rappers that are exactly that. Like most of them like be like trappers. Like even like it was a while where a big part of the sound of Charlotte, if we go like our generation of Charlotte, 13 to 16, a lot of that shit sounded like New Orleans, to be honest. Like especially if you went like real East Side, a lot of them niggas sound like some of that shit that NBA Youngboy be doing. They're just now starting to evolve out of that, like the Hot Boy, whatever, like that whole clique and crew. Like all of them niggas used to sound just like that.
Hot Boy Shaq.
Yes, yeah, Hot Boy Shaq is one of them.
He got like the boozy thing.
And that's what it was. And that's exactly what it was. Like,
but I like like Elevated J.
Oh yeah, nah. Elevated J is like
that shit is
the best mix up.
Innately,
but he got
Southern,
very much more Southern.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, he's probably more Southern than Charlotte actually.
Yeah, for sure.
But then it still has that.
But he's like Goody Mob.
Still has
Outkast.
that trap thing, that fucking. It's special. He's dope. I ain't gonna.
Oh no, I agree.
He's
Elevated J is one of those ones I'm hitting that.
What's that shit? Hot honey.
Oh, hot honey lemon water. That's one of my top played last year.
He's fire, bro.
Yeah, shout out to Elevated J. We'll get him on here at some point. He's definitely another one of those ones that's always stick out for sure.
He got that sound, and it's specific to him. You know, like I don't think nobody gonna be able to do that kind of Cadillac sounding thing here that ain't him that way.
So I got two things for you. One, so you own a studio, correct?
For sure.
So,
yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. That's what's up.
Yeah. That's how I make money now. I rapping wasn't making no breads, but I was like recording niggas is.
Even in the closet, because I used to.
I used to come
oh
to
shit!
crib, bro.
That is fucking true.
I record for everybody, bro. I ain't
That's a fact.
Humble fucking beginnings. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm proud. That shit works.
That'd be the funnest part of the journey. I got to go get some of them hard drives back. What I would like to ask before we kind of pivot out would be, what do you? Because I'm tapped out of the scene in Charlotte. Like I'm not really abreast of what's new, but the fact that right now you are recording other people, you're still currently making music
for sure.
What does Charlotte sound like right now? What is the feel of Charlotte?
Honestly, I'm about to say I can answer that. Honestly, I know some like 15-year-olds that are going to fucking blow.
Okay, talk to me.
And they're soulful.
That's different.
There's still some trap in it. Don't get it twisted, but it's soulful, bro. And I think that was like the essence of what I was saying earlier. Was like what y'all was bringing is that the shit was soulful.
Okay.
Like not only was it introspective, not only was it real or gritty or storytelling or like hood and all these things, but it was soulful. And I think that is where it's going. A lot of niggas want to rap and just freestyle, and that's cool. I record a lot of people who just do easy things like that. We could do that all day.
Was that like the punch-in thing?
Yeah, I could do that all day long. That don't take me no sweat. It takes a whole lot more work for me to sit there and really go through somebody with like some hard vocals and make them sing backgrounds and do all the things. It's super easy for me to be like, all right, bro, do the next line. Like, do the next line, bro. What, you don't got the next line yet? Well, I'll play the beat, cuz. Think about it. I'm getting paid right now. That's easy.
Yeah. While you mumble.
There's no work involved.
That punch-in culture is a crazy one.
The real sound is young and it's soulful and it's untapped. I won't lie. Like these kids I've been working with, bro, I wish I had that kind of sauce at 15.
Yeah. And I was, as I was asking you that, I kind of was like, I've kind of came to like this thought right now. Cause my son, he's into like his music is way different than anything that's even like on a radio. But then there's like the stuff that's on the radio, which is up to me, is almost like the 20 and up. And then it's like records that we tend to like a lot of us old heads end up liking, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm interested because you said that what you hear is like a younger, more soulful, gritty rap part. Yeah. Who are the artists right now that are like the guys in Charlotte? If you exclude yourself,
type shit.
Who would you say are like some of the like people? If there's somebody that's on the cusp of going, who would you say?
Now I want to ask a question inside your question, just so I can know how to answer your question. Are we saying like actually about to like blow, like, or just potential? Like this person's fire, and I know like what's
who has like the biggest followings right now? Like people that actually has like a push going. If that makes sense. Not specifically based off talent, because I think that becomes a little bit more subjective. But objectively, like who are some people that kind of like could be out of here type of thing?
For sure. I got the homie Zeta Go. I don't know if you know.
Heard it. Okay. Yeah.
That's one of the homies. I used to be in the same studio with, bro, and I know for a fact that nigga stays in the studio from the sun up to the sun down.
Okay, so he just sharpen that knife. Okay.
He's one of those people, and he just went on tour with like the baby like last year and all that shit. Like, his father's also the baby's manager, so they real tapped in. They doing their thing. Him, obviously, Shaq been rapping for a long time, so like having consistency is a big part of what they want, honestly. So that kind of consistency works.
Oh, you talking about Shaq? Used to be Shaq. Yeah. And it sounds like his sound has evolved a little bit.
He's definitely coming around to doing some more new shit and getting away from the kind of like
Mhm.
just sounding like Boosie. Like he really making some records,
Yeah.
singing a little bit. His last joint he just dropped had a little auto tune. I be knowing bros that work with him and produce for him.
Okay.
So like, but after that, shit, honestly, like
it's a free for all.
It really is just kind of like whatever you listening to. Because Jamonte, he tapped in with some people, and I know
Mhm.
some people that like what he like and is looking for
Yeah.
what he do. If he just
Mhm.
know where to place himself, like
Yeah,
I ain't
yeah,
gonna lie, like it's gonna work. But really, I say like the person I think gonna have the most motion really is Zay. Like,
Zay.
He's just so close, and the kid's work ethic is really, really, really good. And not because he just got the connects, but because he just loves doing it.
Mhm.
And I've seen that firsthand. I think
Mhm.
that's like a big part of what's missing. A lot of the people that's making music right now see music as the opportunity, not just
Mhm.
as a opportunity, but as the opportunity. And I think that's a monumental flaw in the thinking. Like, because you're gonna need a little more than just making music to like make a life.
Mm.
But I think that kid has some of that juice for real.
Nah. I dig it. Johnny.
What's up? Would y'all want to go to some questions?
Talk to me.
Hey, listen. Hey,
yeah.
shout out to the live. We gonna start asking y'all to rate Johnny's hosting skills.
Oh, Johnny,
and let's not forget
hold on.
Look at the chat.
I see big haters.
Sorry to say haters on the local town. It is because it's black people gentrification. The locals only like what they
Oh, my bad. Say read that one more time.
Hold on, you can read it if you can because he ain't got no mic.
I feel like I be hearing him. I can't really see.
Charlotte,
Johnny, you got the good ears.
It was gonna say Charlotte has always had sorry to say it, haters on the local talent.
Mhm.
It is because black people gentrification. The locals only like what out of towners like.
I'm not mad at that take.
So they saying niggas is coming here with that sauce. And so people here like, oh, that's the sauce then.
Right.
So we moving on that. And not realizing that like we got the own sauce right here. Like when people ask me where I'm from, I have to say New York and Brooklyn. But when people ask me where I'm from, I tell them Charlotte raised me. Because this is where I became a man. This is where I had children.
Same. Yeah,
this is
yeah,
where
yeah.
I, you know what I'm saying? I done got in some stupid trouble, did all kinds of things. But this place raised me. But like, that's not wrong. The
Yeah,
black,
no, I think it was
the black
I think
people
it's-
gentrification is like a weird vibe though. Like that's
It's hard
hard.
to love your own town. But like, yeah, it's hard to love your own town.
Definitely.
Even Nazareth ain't like Jesus.
Talk about it.
Yeah, I think
Talk about it.
and I think that I was just talking to my son about this this past week, but it was inside the it was in the reins of basketball. But I think it applies across the board where if there's not clear separation, everybody sees themselves inside the other person's shoes. And that's even like in an artist sense where if there's not clear separation, everybody feels that they're almost entitled for or should have what you're having. So with him, it's like, all right, you getting off, then your teammates complain to your coach. Teammates, you know what I mean? Like try and be like, oh, you look at me off, you're doing all these other things. But if it's not a clear separation, typically each person believes that they should be afforded those exact opportunities, right?
For sure.
And I think the same applies for anybody doing anything local, whether that's turning people to fans or like artists in themselves, is the fact that like you're too close to me, I can touch you. So why would I be a fan of you? Why would I, you know what I mean, support you? And I think that ends up being the local mindset thing that kind of fucks most people from actually quote unquote blowing in their hometown first.
Boom. And that's exactly why I started a studio, bro. Just because I wanted to be able to like sit back and not get in the way. I wanted to be able to help niggas. Because what I realized was like, bro, people need help with all the things that's inclusive just in music, beats, writing, recording. Like people don't know what a good mix is. I didn't know what a good mix was, bro. Honestly, you were one of the first people that showed me like some shit on Pro Tools that I was not even knowing back in the day. I had no idea about no mixing, bro. And you was putting shit on plugins and compressors. I'm like, we recording in closet. I'm not thinking he finna mix the shit out of this, but you was already thinking progressively way back then before people was even thinking about quality of work. It was way more about put that shit out. It's still about put that shit out. But now it's about, can you put that out and it look like something quality.
And make somebody tap into
Make
it.
somebody, become a fan in 18 seconds. You got that in you? If you don't got that in you, they ain't really buying these days.
Yeah,
but
no, that's facts. So can we get to the questions?
Talk to me.
Can we get to the questions now? I've been wanting to get to them.
Yes, I gotta lose some paper, rock, scissors again, something like that.
Let's go. That's
probably where we at now.
Let's just do 2.
Yeah.
Let's just do 2. So we ain't gonna play rock paper. So
Y'all shoot it out.
let's go. All right, let's go.
Lost
So ass up out of here, nigga. So ass up out of here, nigga.
He was gonna win just how I was.
So ass up out of here,
It
nigga.
made sense for him to win.
And I'm gonna let you go first because I'm
No,
nice
let
like
me go
that.
first.
Damn, that's the way to son him.
Yeah, he did. I ain't mad at him though. So I guess because I had 2 questions.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And y'all can tell me, and I guess we can rely on the chat too. We got 6 people in here to figure out which one I should use. Because you got a definite, right? You got a definite question.
Come on, I know what my question is.
I'm gonna give him the 2. So the first question is, how important do you think a man's relationship is with his father? That's my first question. My second question is, how important do you think self-esteem is when looking for a mate or when looking for a partner? So those are 2. How important do you think self-esteem is when looking for a partner? And how important do you think a man's relationship with his father is?
I think it'd be fire if we let Dave Brown choose. We got a guest in the building.
Yeah.
Dang, those are both good questions, honestly.
You want to go?
I like the father one personally because that's like one that kind of hit a little more.
That's what we'll go with.
Let's get to it.
So how important do you think a man's relationship is with his father?
10, like 10 out of 10.
Mhm.
Because I don't have one with my father, and that particular relationship, with no relationship is a relationship to me.
Mhm.
That relationship I have with him is the one that drives my relationship with my children. To be present, to be close, to be in their face. I'm at every basketball, every doctor's nigga. If you sick, I'm picking your ass up. We ain't missing nothing, bro.
Yeah.
Like that thing is driven from the fact that I didn't have that guy there. I was constantly looking in the mirror to myself like, I look like someone I don't know. And that's like a strange place to be in. It's almost like a parable. Like I don't even know this person, but yet I have to look at myself and see that I know that I'm you somehow.
Yeah, that's
and that was like as soon as I had a son, I was like, yeah, it's up. I never not be there. So I think whether the relationship doesn't exist or it does, it's one of the most important ones you could have on the planet.
Would you say that there's anything with, like, say him not being present, any character traits or anything like that you feel that you've picked up on, or maybe I don't know if you like to what version that you know, things that almost seem like it came organically through him,
like good or bad?
Yeah, good or bad.
I definitely got the lazy eye. Fuck all that. You know what I'm saying? That's sad. Sometimes I be in a picture looking left when I know I was looking straight. I hate that nigga crazy. I hate that nigga for those shit. Cause I gotta wear some Cartiers, bro.
I don't pay no attention to it. That's crazy.
I'm telling you, gonna see shades, cuz on God. I got that biggie every once in a while. That shit is OD. I hate him for that, but I do love that, like what I know from my father, because we grew up in New York, and New York's like a real interesting place. People tell stories about your family. So I got to hear stories about how bro was taking people SATs, how he was charismatic, how he had the hoes, which was bad for my mother, but that's a good thing to hear later in life. Oh yeah, some hoes. Okay, I get it.
Did you try and live up to any of those things?
Nah, I just wanted to be better, which meant being present in everything. That meant being with my mom and being present for this woman who birthed me and loved me that he left. That meant having a relationship with his mom. I know my grandmother, who's a Caribbean woman. I know his brother who passed away. I know my brothers. I still don't know him because he won't make himself present. At this point, I'm the daddy, my nigga. Like, no disrespect, but I'm taking care of business in a way that you want. I'm taking care of your kids. I'm sending my brother $10s and $20 and $100 to pay his bills. You're not. So at a certain level, I'm like, I just learned from him what not to do.
Gotcha.
Like that's really the key for that relationship. But that's a beautiful thing too, because any example is a good example. because you can always learn from that shit.
That's cool.
Yeah, no, I go because, like I say, my dad's always been, I've always grew up with my dad and been present. And like you say, it's to me, it's giving me like a lot of the, because I've had homeboys in very similar situations who haven't had, their father. And again, it's not a thing that you can do without it. I know plenty of people that don't have fathers and they still out here productive citizens, and it's not like it's gonna stop you from doing what you need to do. But to have that father and to like have that blueprint to lean back on, like you say,
That's for real.
There's certain things I've learned about myself only from like watching my dad, and I see him and how he interacts with people, how people interact with him, and I'm like, okay, that's the goal. That's the impact I want to have. Like I want to be 60, 70 years old and walk by and people, hey, how you doing, Mr. Newton? Yada, 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 just because they remember how you treated them. My dad was a school teacher.
That's wrong.
And so like growing up in Rock Hill, it would always be people that come up to him and like thank him for, the impact he had on their lives. And I'd be like, yeah, Pops, who was that? He's like, I don't remember. But like they would just come up and they'd always remember him. So just like having that blueprint of like, I know how I want to impact people. I know, I know the type of, legacy I want to leave. I know how I want people to look at me when it's all said and done. And I'd only know that from like watching my father. Again, there's certain things about my personality that I'd only know from, sitting and being with my dad every day and being able to ask him. Like you said, you was an introvert. I'm very much very similar. And like how I personally look at myself as an introvert. My dad's the same way, but he's also a person that always put himself out there in the public light, and people always respected that. And so just even seeing and knowing how private he is and how shy he is, and knowing that he put himself out there as a leader in his community, it's always something that I was like, damn, okay, so it's something that this is, I am capable of this. It's just I gotta just go out there and do it. And so just having that blueprint, having that, that foundation. Also, there's times he whooped my ass and like I was out of line, like even like disrespecting my mom, and he
ass whooping hit.
I might have needed a couple of those. Come
and correct that. I remember like I remember those ass whoopings. And so a lot of that stuff, it made me the person I am today. And so like I said, I think it's very influential in the person I am. So it's I'm gonna say it's always a very important. And, in one of the first relationships, with a male that you're gonna have, that really sets the standard of how your life gonna go. So I think it's very important.
Yeah, I agree. The question is, how important do we think it is? So I would say very important. And I think that it's important whether good or bad, and for good and for bad. And I guess with me, for sure, like I'd say like from my introduction to music and hip hop comes from my father. I think like typically, like I grew up in a 2-parent home, so like your first superhero is going to pretty much be your father. Like the first person you're looking up to and you want to copy after and do, the first, maybe you say like glass ceiling, maybe like when you be like, okay, I need to try and at least get to here. Is at least for me, it was like mimicking my father. But I also say like there's different things that as I reflected as I gotten older, I'm like, dang, I kind of got that from my dad. You know what I mean? And we spoke through some of them. Recently, I had a chance to kind of like have a piece of that conversation with him as well. Well, like it's different things, like from like saying I love you and being able to like hear that from him or expressing that to my son. Like that was a big little hurdle that we've talked a little bit about recently, where it's like that's something I did get from you also, which could be for good or for bad, but it's still something that's a product of the relationship that was with my father. Like I said, I think that it's so many unconscious things that you pick up in, whether you're intentionally doing it the way he did it or making sure that you do it better than he did. And I think that for me, I exist in both of those worlds. And I think that when you have a father there every day, like there's easy, like to me, it's easy to critique your parents. And again, like you critique doesn't mean that you dislike, hate, or think that they did anything wrong. You just understand that they was operating with the limited knowledge that they had, and they was trying to do what they probably a lot of times what they ended up like learning from their parents. And so, yeah, I think that is really, really important. And no matter what, like it's going to manifest itself, whether you're there or you're not, whether they were there, whether they weren't. The impact is the impact. Real.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I agree with everything y'all saying. It's and for me specifically, like I think that was probably one of the. It was me and my pops kind of getting to because my mom and dad was married when I was younger. They got a divorce. I was like maybe 3, 4, something like that. And so then periodically I would go and have to go live with my dad. I actually asked my mom recently what was the reason that I would have to go and live with him. And she said, she was like, because you was a lie and you would lie too much and you were sneaky. And so I thought that, like, I like asking those questions and like now to like, understand what was going on. What was the reason? Because I just knew that I was going to end up having to go and live, you know what I mean? Yeah. But the last time I deserved it. I stole a car and everything and stole a husband tag off his car and put it on her car and go over there and talk, you know what I mean? It's funny, it was with my wife now. I'm going to go see her. You know what I mean? So it's funny how that all panned out. But anyway, going back to the father thing, like we had conversations about like everything that you know what I mean? Everything that I could be mad about. And I appreciate the fact that what he didn't do was like kind of flip it like or make excuses for it. He was just willing to hold his L's. You know what I mean? And that was like a thing that was like very beneficial because I needed to get these things off. And at some point, like it really doesn't matter how you know what I mean? You can't change the thing, but I just need to get this off so that I can feel like, you know what I mean? Get it out.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate him being, willing to accept whatever my reality was. And without saying what the results of that, like me kind of getting this relationship with him, because like at this point, like I talk to him every day. I done started, like I changed professions and now I do what he does. We work together now. Like that's a lot of things that ended up coming up, like, and you know what I mean? It's dope. Like that's my nigga. I love that. You know what I mean? I love him, man. Now, it's funny because like we just fell out yesterday. I'm sitting here only talking about, what's the, you know what I mean? We ain't talking right now. You know what I mean? Type shit. But at the end of the day, even with that being said, like I respect him and love him and appreciate him. And it literally what it did for me, it was a different level of confidence that it gave me. Because once I could sit here and talk to you about how I feel, ain't really nobody else. Like, ain't really nobody else that I'm really worried about. I can stand in front of anybody. I can stand in front of anybody and tell you how I feel at this point, because if I can tell him, you know what I mean, bro, you don't mean half of what that means for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, and I tell a lot of people, like, I think that that's probably the most healthy thing you can do is just to be able to tell him. You know what I mean? And hopefully, like at the end of the day, I think it's better to just accept what the feeling is, because you can't tell me my truth is not real.
That part.
And so that, like I said, I appreciate him for not like trying to make my truth invalid because of you trying, you know what I mean? You trying to tell me the story differently than how I interpret it. It's okay. Like we end up having conversations about the things later on, and he would tell me like, you know what I mean? When I tell you not to lie to me because you can lie to everybody but me. You know what I mean? He would tell me stuff like that. And I'd be like, but nigga, you lied to me on this date. You lied to me on this date. So you telling me not to lie to you, but you lie to me.
So I got a question for you.
And so like,
whenever you get a chance.
He didn't really, you know what I mean? He let me get that off. And then later on, well, I really wasn't lying to you. What it was this, and this. And so it wasn't a lie. It was really the truth, but you ain't have to know all of this other stuff. I didn't feel like you needed to know all this other stuff. You know what I mean? So it was like dope to have that, you know what I mean, on the back end. What's up?
So I guess where you're at, I think you're at a good spot. And I do think that there's a lot of strength in repairing and building those relationships for sure. So I ask you this question because it's not like from as you like telling the story, like you had the conversation, you was able to kind of get it all off. This is a question that I've heard from I don't know where I hear it from, but it's somebody that they intentionally ask this almost to everybody. But I think that where we're at is a great place for me to ask it to you. So in you having those conversations, would you say that you have forgiven your father?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, nah. Like in order for us to kind of like be how we are now, and see the thing is, forgiveness doesn't mean that you forget what the actual situations were.
Mhm.
But I don't hold animosity towards the scenario, but I know that these things happen. So I've learned from the experience of said thing, and you know what I mean. I know. See the thing is like where you know how like you get to know your partner, like your old lady, like you have a relationship with her over time, and you can speak for her. Like you know what she's going to say, not necessarily speak for her, but you can. Y'all are connected enough to where you can respond if you can. They, you know, like on them little dating games, they'll be like, "What would she say is her favorite such and such?" Or what would you know what I mean? It comes you develop a relationship to where. And then once you develop a relationship, I feel like it's exactly that sounds about right. It's like you accept the person.
Mhm.
So like I just accept who he is at this point. You know what I mean? Like that's literally like I've forgiven him and I accept who he is.
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
So I'm flawed, he's still flawed, he's still some of the same stuff that I hated when I was younger. These things still rear their heads, but it's like, okay, I understand these things now more because I love you and I accept you like you are, just like, you know, I'm a flawed man myself, and you accept me as I am. And we critique each other.
Mhm.
But I think that's kind of where we are at this point.
Like that.
Yeah, and I know for me that probably was like step one before. Like I think that conversations are always going to be difficult anyway. Like conversations be conversations. But one thing that I did years ago, like any critiques or like thing that I might have had like with my parents, because it's like I said, it's so easy to critique. Once I had a son, it was really easy to forgive him because I learned that, oh shit, like we all just trying to figure this shit out. And it's so much unlearning that you have to do, especially with your first kid, like that first run around where you be like, why the fuck am I doing this? Oh damn, this ain't right. This comes from like my mama or my grandma or something that I seen XYZ do where to me, like I had to sit and be like, you know, both my like I can like it's no resentment that I can hold to y'all. As long as like in my heart, and I believe in my heart that both of them were trying to do their best. Like I ain't got shit. I ain't really about to hold you over the fire for much. Like we can talk about it and we can grow from it and like be like, hey, you know, this ended up making me feel these different kind of ways, XYZ. But I know for me that's definitely one of those things that I had to be intentional about making sure I did. Yeah, for sure.
No, that's fire. So, yo, who gonna do the second question? Y'all want me to go with mine? Or?
John, we already discussed.
We do got
What y'all want? Are we gonna do both of his?
Go ahead.
It says, I never remember my father ever telling me I love you or I'm proud of you, but he always showed it. Sometimes showing it actually is better than saying it out loud.
I don't know if it's like better. I think that it's another way of doing it for sure.
I agree.
And but the thing is, I guess as long as the thing is fulfilled, that's the main thing. And if that does work, because I can't like also invalidate the idea like that was enough for you, like because like for him that clearly could have been enough, and that was enough for it. I know like I said, I know for me, like in the culture we're at, like my intentionality of like even wanting to say like specific things like I love you, like there has been a barrier up there, and like I know like damn. Why? Where does this exist from? And like, it's not a resentment that I hold. Like, I done, spoke a little bit with my pop. Like, he didn't see that either. So like, I'm not like, I get it, and I can forgive you from it. But it's still like a conversation to be had, and I still understand. Like, damn, it's kind of tough for me to get this one out with my little one. So like, shit, let's try and like break down some of these generational curses and just clear the slate, and let's all hug and be like, I love you. That's like even hugging, like it was the same difference, you know what I mean? And
there's power in saying it though.
Big fact.
Let me tell you.
And see, the thing is that like I think that I can believe that I found the power in saying it, whereas you can think that you're because I'm providing for you, because I'm protecting you, because I'm guiding you. You know what I mean? I'm showing you that I love you. At the end of the day, as a kid, you don't interpret these actions the same way as you know what I mean, as you would as an adult. And so as a child, I think that it is very much important for you to hear it, because like my dad told me, to this day it fucks with him is that his dad never told him he loved him, and he said that his old lady may say, you know, your daddy love you, and his old thing was like, but I mean, he would never say it out loud, but it's like, I mean,
but truthfully, like sometimes it might be. I know for me, it was something I didn't really pay attention to or think about until I got older. And then I started seeing how that manifested. And then like, well, shit, you know, I kind of probably ain't ever. And like that ends up being its own thing. Like I know it wasn't something that was on my mind as a kid.
Yeah.
But it still ended up having later ramifications that I had to work through.
And I said that just to say that like my grandfather passed. My dad was like 20 something, like early 20s, and so. Of course, I mean, I think, like you said, you figured it out later on. I'm pretty sure he never thought about it, but then all of a sudden, you know, you will never hear it.
Yeah.
And so it becomes a thing where it's like, damn, well, I mean, this will never happen. You know what I mean? So like, that's why, like, I definitely am an advocate, a real advocate, because bro, you don't know when the clock run out. It ain't in time. It ain't on your wrist where you can sit there and count the seconds. And so, like, I think that like.
That's a good movie.
Once it's too late, it's too late. It's like it ain't.
Yeah,
shit.
I don't know. Dave, we'll leave you with the last word in this, and then we'll get the Johnny question.
Tell your kids you love them.
Yeah.
Show your kids you love them. Do both, because like to your point, having a dad there and then never hearing it might fuck me up. But having no one there to never hear it as well is what makes you question, like, does this person love me? So like my whole existence has been like, I don't even know if cuz know my name for real. Like, nigga, I could really shoot the 3. Like I could, as a kid, you know, I'm trying to do all, you know what I'm saying? Like as a kid, you're trying to do all these things to prove like you're worthy of the love. You know, like,
and even with a pops there, like I think sons all vie for their father's validation.
100%, 100%.
But that's
funny.
You take it all the way down to a box of Newports. As my homie said, like I can shoot the 3. Like I literally remember my pops putting me in basketball for like, bro. And my thing was like, he ain't let me really. I never practiced with the team. I just came one day and we was playing the game, and I knew it was fucked up because like there was a bunch of white boys, but they had on like Nike shoes and Nike gear and all this, and we were just wearing like, you know, the like practice joints. The burgundy joints, like a little pullover joint. They had jerseys and all this.
Pennies.
And then I finally get the ball, and the white boy ripped me. And that was the only time I got the ball the whole time. And I ain't go back to no. He just pretty much just chalked me to the game. I'm like, damn.
White boy got your you let him get in your pocket.
My dog Thomas caught you, bro.
He caught me easy too. I was even shocked to have you get the ball. Cookies. You get the ball and you just shot it.
Hey, but fella, I got a question, fellas. I think I'll go ahead and switch gears. You know, my question for the week and for the fellas is. You see, I know everybody saw Nikki Haley up there moonwalking, trying to bullshit about when they asked her, was America a racist country? And my question is, why does the right have such an issue admitting that America is a racist country, even though we all can pretty much agree that the founders, the people who started this country, were racist people?
Check me out. If I was beating you up for 15 years, but on your contract it say for another 30 I won't beat you up, will you forget those beatings? No. Will I ever bring them beatings up again? No. Probably not, my nigga. You won't forget it, but I'm not talking about that shit, my boy. You feel me? It was a perfect. Like, it's just that simple.
He was going with it. He was a good slow walk.
They want us to forget scars they made.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I could take you right now to Pineville and show you a slave house. It's still up.
A couple of them.
Like trophies.
I rode through South Carolina at the work, bro. I swear they had like And I honestly, from my understanding, it seemed like they had bus parking. So I'm assuming that they was taking kids from the schoolhouse.
You talking about Brattonsville?
That's real,
That
bro.
sounds about.
That's Brattonsville down there in South Carolina.
I went in there. I'm sitting here, bro. There's no way that this is not a plantation, bro. And I remember hearing people say that they were in elementary school or whatever in school in Charlotte, they was taking them to a plantation. I never specifically went, but just seeing it said bus parking was over there, and I'm saying like, oh, okay, this is the plantation that they've been taking these kids to.
This was in South Carolina. It was probably Brattonsville.
Yeah, it was in South Carolina for sure.
We can go ahead on this. Yeah, but yeah, keep going.
But yeah, no, that was crazy. But hey,
that's for real.
I don't know. I'm gonna say I'm still cultivating my opinion of why I believe.
Well, I think to me personally, I'll say I think they have an issue of saying it is because.
Is it saying that it's currently a racist country, or is it saying that previously it was a racist
country?
That it was, okay.
Yeah,
that's like the easiest one to do.
But she couldn't even say that. She couldn't even say that America was a racist country.
Damn, I wish you would have taken the quote.
Because
so
the thumb saying what was is to still say what is if the remnants are still there.
Right.
Like,
but no, here I get that, and that's why they don't. That's why because they're not saying it is. But my thing is, as a Black American, and the things that we going through, saying it's not a racist country, that's erasure. That's erasing my history as a Black person. Like, you can look in the Constitution, and there's racist language in the Constitution of America.
Correct.
Like the 3/5 compromise, and they talk about how slavery is one of the institutions of like it's in the Constitution. It ain't no like they weren't hiding it.
Right.
They weren't hiding it. So to sit up here now and say that it wasn't a racist country, to me, that means that you're going to eventually say that like there was never any, like you're saying there was never any racism, and that not only was it not only 100 years ago or 200 years ago, it just never happened.
Yeah.
And what I'm seeing now from conservatives and white people is they're now turning the flip and saying that white people are the victims of racism. You can. That's not a joke.
Reverse racism.
That's not a joke.
Yeah, that
is a thing they're really preaching on now, and they're saying that America's racist now towards white people.
Was it white men specifically?
Yeah,
white men. Yeah,
it's white men specifically.
White men, but that's the thing. It's like the white men are the guys who wrote the Constitution.
But now, first off, America's fucking racist. I mean, we just had Navy Federal, in which I was like, damn, you know what I mean? Navy Federal, y'all just now got caught up with the doggone home loan joints the same way Wells Fargo did. That's the bullshit. And I always liked Navy Fed, you know what I mean? But that's just a fact of this. But I mean, at the end of the day, look, the white man is wearing his share of L's. Like, I think it's well deserving based on the history of the country. It's deserving, but I mean that. I want to see at what point, and see, this is the thing about Black people. We're at least in my opinion, I think that we're like so forgiving.
We
are so forgiving that like the idea of what like, oh well, if we admit this, then they'll, if they ever get in power, they'll do us this. I don't believe that we even have that in us for real. I don't think that us as a people, like we're not really built like in that type of thing about Black people doing to them what happened to, you know what I mean? I don't think that's a thing. I don't think that's a thing. What do y'all think? Do you think that if let's say Black people became, let's say like the what do you want to call the
dominant culture?
Dominant people. Do you see that it would ever become? I don't think that we would do that to anybody.
No,
I don't think that we would do it to anybody.
It's hard to say, I ain't gonna lie, because history says that there were slaves in Africa, there were slaves in the Dominican Republic, there were slaves.
The slave trade still going on.
You know what I'm saying? Like these things was happening all over the earth. But what I don't want to say is that we would have been as brutal as these people who were coming here from Europe, taking lands from the natives and forcing, free labor. I'm not sure we'd be as brutal.
Their history and their
I guess you're right.
Like we would have been another.
It'd be crazy to think that we wouldn't fall into the exact cycle of oppression that every single country has literally had.
But what I say, I mean, that's what I mean. Like, due to them, what has been done to us, not just the idea of even like free labor, not even just that.
But are you talking about the level of control that they had over us, or like
I'm talking
we
about
just think that
the idea that like the native tongue thing, you don't speak your own language, you can't read. You know what I mean? The idea that it would be so demeaning that you would be.
Well, no, black people wouldn't do that because look at how Africans treated the Europeans when they went over there. They sold them slaves. Like, so I mean,
gave them rice.
Like, what do you mean? Like, black people, like, look at the black people who were in power in Africa when the white people went over there looking for slaves. What did they do? They sold them slaves.
But they also sell the slaves that they were.
Now they were prisoners of war, right. And it wasn't chattel slavery or chattel or whatever the word is, slavery, and where like it was prisoners of war. So the offspring of those people weren't necessarily slaves.
Right.
Where like in America, like if you're black and you were born black, everybody is slaves. So there's a difference in how black people in Africa treated slavery and how white people did it.
A lot of that was a debt, honestly. It was
prisoners of war. You lost a war, so you had to be a slave for a certain amount of time.
Y'all seen that video of Nas finding out that like they sold his great grandma? He actually got like he was looking at the receipt for the selling of his great grandma and I think it was like $8 or some shit.
That's OD.
Something short. Like I may have exaggerated. It probably wasn't $8, but it wasn't.
But it probably was.
It wasn't $100. Like it was like.
But no, they was even talking about how like even like slavery was a way to like for generational wealth because a lot of these people would like finance their slaves. So there's a lot of like these banks who were like making interest off loans they did for slavery.
Banks,
J.P. Morgan, Wells Fargo. The original bank, but they were making interest on slaves.
Banking is
and like so a lot of this, like when we talk about like this country and why we should focus on what happened during slavery, because a lot of this generational wealth that was like built up in America, it literally came off of slaves' backs. And to say that it didn't happen is to like just erase your whole 200-year head start, and it does discount the work that black people have been doing, and it does discount the fact that we have been doing this work, we have been doing everything that's right, and the reason we're so far behind is because of the head start that y'all had based on our physical labor and our bodies. And that's why I don't think they should, we have to admit that America was a racist country, and we have to even go down and focus and look at the generational wealth that was accumulated during slavery to look at how far ahead white people were when black people were freed, to see how far we have to go. And that's why this even goes to reparations. Like there's no way you can say that we don't deserve that based on how much wealth has been accumulated in this country off of slavery. You gotta at some point cut that back to the people who actually made that possible.
Yeah, I mean, but why when the people who made that possible are so forgiving? That's the point. That's the point they making. They're like, why give it to you? You're not good right now.
We have to stop forgiving.
That niggas got rap music.
That niggas got weed.
Look, you had a black president.
Look at the NBA. We gave y'all Barack.
We gave you Kamala.
But that's why we can never forget.
That's what I'm saying.
That's why we can never. If we get focused on all this shit that's going on now, we might forget. But that's why we can't never forget that shit.
That's how they play the game.
Wells Fargo, J.P. Morgan was making motherfucking millions in interest off slaves. So we can't ever forget that and let these companies now go unscathed. They don't have to pay nothing back. We gotta hold all these systems accountable.
What's the Wells Fargo logo? Them niggas don't forget.
No, yeah.
No,
it's still there. It's always gonna be the same with the people. Because
so what's crazy is like I don't disagree with what you're saying, Johnny. But it's like it's a duality to it also that I'm sitting there thinking about. So it's like if you keep talking about racism, it's gonna keep being a thing. Like I seen this interview Morgan Freeman was having where like
but it was the thing. That's what the country was founded on. So you can't just forget it.
I'm not saying forget it, but the portion that we needed to remember, we didn't already forget. That's part of it. So like a lot of stuff happened after slavery and in between slavery that really messed us up, and we don't talk about that stuff.
Reconstruction, the compromise of 1877.
So even like our names being changed. Our names got changed after slavery again. So it's like even that stuff, like being changed from like Indian to color to black, like all of these different titles. There was paperwork and acts and stuff that was being done by Congress that purposely went about that happened, and we don't know nothing about it now in this day and age because we wasn't around for it. All we keep hearing about is slavery. Like that's the only racism, and it's like part of what you were saying when you were sitting there saying it's kind of like there's an attachment to being a slave for Black people to a degree. That's like, and I'm hoping y'all understand what I'm saying because I'm not trying to dismiss slavery.
I think I get it.
I think this was a thing.
I think you're saying like to say it is to perpetuate the same type of, not necessarily ideals, but like if we keep talking about it for so much, they're gonna be like, "Well, y'all was slaves. That was."
But don't Jewish people talk about the Holocaust all the time?
Fuck no.
They do. You can't say
they don't talk about. Okay, so there's
they do. It say the Holocaust didn't happen right now, and watch what happened.
I'm not about to disagree with you. What I'm saying is they don't. It's not that they talk about it a lot. It's that if you bring up something to try to prove that they're not who they say they are, that's their the proof that they have to try to say they are who they are. Like, and not even trying to bring this up. This is a biblical thing. So the proof that to say who they are, they use that as proof to say who they are, but it's not true. Like, yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. I can go deeper in on this, but just saying, you know,
I'm saying, but nobody else gets to. Nobody else has to forget their history in order to like be better.
Okay,
like nobody else has to be like the Jews. Don't be like, well, the Holocaust was 80 years ago, and maybe we should just forget what the Germans did to us, and we should just be better. They don't say that. No, they hold the Germans accountable every fucking step. And they get everything that they deserve based off that. They don't just be like, well, forget it. It was 100 years ago.
Okay, so the other part of that is that's why I'm not trying to go too deep in this conversation. But you have to give me a different example with a different
the Armenians, the Armenian genocide. It's a bunch of different genocides that can happen to people.
I'm not disagreeing with you. What I'm saying is the people who you're referring to is in control of a lot of different stuff. So that's like you can't say nothing bad about it. Like if you use it like okay, say for instance, for one, Black people are not the only ones who have been enslaved. Every single people that on this earth has been enslaved, but we don't know anything about whatever. Like most of us don't know about whatever slavery Asians were in, or we don't know about whatever slavery. Because the Arabs had a slave trade and they were enslaved at a certain point. The Mexicans had slaves and were enslaved at a certain point. Everybody has been through these things, and we don't keep hearing about that shit. Like they'll tell you about their history. They know their history.
But there's only one major superpower in the world today that's used Black people as slaves. That used Black people as slaves to get to the superpower that they are today.
That's what I was gonna say.
And that's America. So America has to be held accountable for the things that they've done, especially if they've never paid the debt.
Okay, so at the end of the day, what do you think accountability for them looks like for us? Like,
reparations.
Okay, so
that's a hard one.
Reparations.
It's a hard one, but
if them reparations,
you don't think it was hard to give Jewish people a whole country after World War II? You don't think that was a hard one?
I'm
right. When those Palestinians
people, they promised too much.
You don't think that was a hard one? That was a hard one for somebody.
They can't.
Somebody had to make their choice.
They can't give us.
They got the Palestinians up out of there. They got them Palestinians.
That was a hard one. So like somebody got a hold. Like if there's a debt, somebody has to pay it.
I think,
and there's clearly a debt. There's clearly a debt owed to Black Americans.
Okay, so this is my thing, though, Johnny, and I want you to think about.
I don't think nobody's disagreeing. We all agree. That's a fact. The thing is, that is a fact.
So why can't they pay it? And what's the whole? What's the hard part about making them pay it?
Feel like they already did. You got a Black History Month. You got a LeBron. You had a Barack. I'm
they cut a check.
I agree.
Johnny, you peeking like
that. I agree. I'm just telling you what they thinking. They like, bro, you had everything else. What else you want?
But they ain't never cut a check, and that's all I'm saying. We needed them to cut a check.
Okay, so they say they cut the stimulus checks.
They go to white people.
Hey, you know the thing is,
too many white people cut.
And that's a joke, but I think that at the end of the day, even if you looked at like Bernie Sanders when he was running, I voted for Bernie on the So like even what he was saying is like, and even if you listen to Barack Obama talk about it, like it's not so much of what I did for in the actual writing of the laws or the acts, whatever. It didn't say Black people specifically, but how much did Black people benefit from this thing? So everything, like I've heard this, and I'm not saying that I agree with it. I'm just saying that this is the way they attack the scenario. They attacked it is if we say poor people, if we're benefiting poor people, then the black people, they're gonna get these benefits as what you know what I mean. And so that's the way, bro. Give me the 40. You can keep the mule.
We need 40 acres.
I take the mule for tax.
And the mule.
First, you better
shoot
take
the
the
40. Yeah, I want the mule.
We need interest on that too.
So Johnny, I got a quick go down because I think that all right, here we go. All right, so we tend to have like the fantasy conversations, right? And I think like we are engaging in the fantasy conversation. If you think them white folk about to give you 40 acres and a mule or any version of reparations, you are currently but you're currently indulging in a fantasy conversation.
It don't have to be. It don't have to be.
Gotcha. All right, so
I mean, okay, like, all right.
So let's walk down this really quickly.
We'll never get it then if y'all thinking it's a
all right, you're just trying to get it off. You got it.
The same people you talking about, the ones who control that money. The same people you talking about. Why they gonna give it?
I'm saying how come Japanese people got reparations?
Bro, why you like?
How come Indian people got reparations? No, I'm saying it's possible to cut reparations for certain people, right?
But you think it's not?
It's possible to cut reparations in certain instincts.
Do you think it's not because they're not American?
Would you say what?
Do you think it's because they're not American?
Who? The Indians were Indian Americans. Those are the people who got the reparations.
But Johnny, real quick, I would like you to. So this is what I'm trying to understand. So, are you saying that reparations can happen? How do you see the like what is going to be like the first 3 steps of us getting reparations?
What that look like?
Well, you gotta identify the ADOS or FBA. You gotta identify who's deserving of it. The first thing. Then you have to come up with.
So we're gonna do mouth swabs.
I mean, I think you can do paper bag tests.
All right, so Spanish thing. All right, cool.
Yeah. So this week where Disney is doing something like that, they're letting black people come to Disneyland. Black children come to Disneyland for free, but they got to get some blood tests or some shit like that. Like,
I mean, that's some way to do it. We got too much technology to for us to say that like it's too hard to do it. We can figure out who deserves the reparations.
I'm just asking, you think Stretch Armstrong or not?
Man, watch how many 10% Ancestry.com blacks pop up on there. But go ahead, Johnny. Keep
going.
Gonna
be some white folk too.
Oh, of course. That's what I'm saying. But go ahead. So how are we going? Like, you think that right now, in Donald Trump's Republican Party, they're about to pass that. But let's not even just go Republicans right wing. I don't think that half of the left wing is going to get it. Like you might get lucky with some of those like the blue hair feminists that hate themselves as white folk. But like, do you really think that outside of black people, who is really about to make the vote for this? Like, where are we going to actually get the votes to pass any version of this law on a federal level?
Okay, well, that is going to be the issue. It's going to have to be a state thing. In California right now, they handing out reparations to niggas. They handing out reparations over like a certain age, blah, 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 all that type of shit.
I got crazy though. And it's still people taking advantage of that.
Of course they will.
Matter of fact, even with the Indians who got their reservations and everything. You know, those people up there ain't like the people who end up getting a lot of the land and got a lot of the resources, not Indians.
Yeah. Let's not forget about our comments.
Oh yeah,
we got a couple right now.
A lot of non-whites are either embarrassed or just don't care about other races. So if they erase the fact of slavery and things like that happening, they feel better.
Go up one.
Let's see.
Getting them off.
Oh, what do you say?
Racism exists everywhere, even in Africa, because racism is not about color; it's about your culture, tribe, or etc. It was racism when Hitler did what was done to the white hurricanes.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. History has always been written over from the Pilgrims. Just think about the Wild West. If you think in your mind, truly the Wild West sounds like the hood, because something was the black cow handler.
The first cowboys was Negroes.
Bass Reeves.
Negroes.
Better read about him.
He was cool. I'm not really fucking with Bass though. I ain't gonna hold you.
I got read more
fuck with Bass, but like I ain't fucking with Bass. That's a long time to be shooting niggas for 33 years. That's outrageous, bro. You tell me a nigga, hold on, cuz nigga got free, then became a cop for 33 years. It's OD. That's OD. He niggas missing him shooting and shit. Like, but they did say his slave master, owner, whatever, told that nigga shoot the shit out of something.
God man, the real Django.
How y'all feel about
real Django?
How y'all feel about them changing master bedrooms?
What do they call it?
You know what? I didn't ever think about that. Really like call it.
No, they call it like the main room.
The grand room. They changing it from master bedroom because they like we can't sell that no more to black folk.
I never thought about this shit. That's master's bedroom.
Think about it, how deep that shit was in the way that in the culture. Like if you come all the way down to a floor plan. You talking about this motherfucker in floor plan?
That's master's bedroom right there.
That's crazy how embedded it is, and then for you to say like it doesn't exist.
So this country ain't racist at all, bro.
It's in the language.
It's a reason all of this go on. That's the main history I've been studying.
fail to believe
it's a reason all this stuff go on.
Let's hit those last two real quick.
Yeah, we'll go there. Currently in Arab nations, they still have slavery going on to this day.
Sure,
in parts of Africa as well.
For sure. They selling little girls and all types of shit for free.
Nice.
Hey, y'all seen the videos of them? The what you call hurricanes coming from under New York with all of them,
the tunnels?
Them tunnels.
Hey, don't talk about them tunnels, bro. You might get canceled, bro.
I was just asking y'all. So I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I think Johnny had the meme of it last week.
What book is it? Isaiah say that they're gonna hide under rocks.
Bro, it's jumping.
In the mountains, the rich, the free, the
hurricanes.
You heard me? You heard?
Oh, it's something about them. They not.
You heard me?
They're not the real hurricanes. Put it like that. And they say it in there. It literally say it. That's That's probably why they don't like the New Testament.
When they come pull up on me, I tell them I believe the whole time. I know what was happening.
And then last comment: USA was built on racism.
Oh, for sure.
Built on it, bricks
on
bricks,
my nigga. All white
brick
bricks.
on racist brick after racist brick after racist brick. They laid the motherfuckers. Shout out to the Freemasons.
The best thing they ever did for themselves was invite niggas to join the military. They were so happy when they did that one. That was their big one. They gonna fight for us.
Right.
When they really
win.
And guess what? One of the first wars they went over there and fight. Who they fought to free?
Some motherfucking Asians.
No.
He want to say Jewish. That's what.
See, I can't get into them. But we look. You know what Jerusalem is?
It's in the West Bank right now. It's in Palestine.
Where's Palestine? That's
what I'm like.
Africa.
I'm like, I
be like, this thing is dead in the middle of Africa, or it's dead right here in Africa.
Nobody want to call it what it is.
They want to call it what it is. You separate it, you like, bro.
It's a reason for the.
Like one of the things I know is like them people who was getting traded into slavery. It was a specific set of Africans that was being traded.
Of course.
And
you can kind of see that, just like
it was specific Africans that was rooted from some who had roots linking to some other people who pretend to be those people that they like. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you.
And that's the reason they put some on our neck. Like,
Arrow say, "You feel me knocking?" What that mean?
I feel it.
Like, you don't want to know who you is, because then you gonna try to pretend you gonna kick us out. All right. All right. Last comment on Bass Reeves was the person the Lone Ranger was based off of.
That's facts.
Facts.
Shut up.
Here's another one.
That was Keith.
Have y'all?
Lone Ranger.
Have y'all ever seen any remains of a slave ship? Just random question, just for y'all. You ever seen it in a book? You ever seen it in a museum? You ever seen it in a documentary?
Seen it in a book, but I haven't did like super research, but
ain't seen no diagrams.
I think that is a really interesting.
I know who financed a lot of them slave ships, though.
Talk about it. Same people financing dinosaurs, but we ain't gonna talk about
it. Hey,
we not bringing it back.
I was just
I like this.
Diversity of thought is a beautiful
real shit.
No, I like this, but I guess I guess I don't know. Anybody got any final words before I wrap this up?
I love Real's mom.
Hey, I literally was about to say the same thing.
Hey, I would say I appreciate my boy Day for pulling up on us. We gotta get that one good on there.
Yes, sir. Hey, Tone, before we get out of here, drop the beat for him. No, I'm joking. We ain't about to.
We lit. You play your sun beat. I'm rapping.
Hey, listen. Hey, Tone, if you want to pull up one real quick,
hey, hold on,
those
man.
headphones on. We had one person bless the mic before.
I have something locked in.
Just give us something quick, Tone.
Oh shit! All right, I was gonna wrap it up.
You said you got auto tune.
Nah, I know we got auto tune, but hey, shit, fuck it. This our second. It sound like we about to have. What we gonna call this? We got to think of like a witty name for the To Be Fair show.
We just type beating it.
Yeah, just go to something type beat.
It don't matter.
You said it don't matter. Just put something on.
You know, pick somebody you would actually listen to, because I don't even know what's a big scar. Like, I don't know none of the names. Good. You could find anything. You could put on an old instrumental too. Put on some reggae. Anything could go.
Tone being picky. Just click something.
Don't matter.
Okay, let's do it.
I can hear it though, cuz. Yeah.
You gotta share screen so they can hear.
Yeah. Tell me I'm meaning that you know how we get it up and nothing. Boys painting, we gon' get on way. But it's talking they can't see him. I ain't never wrote on. Hey, I want some hard shit. Me and mine was smart. Big. I want to get too gangster on here. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, you can get the gangsters you need to, cuz.
No, bro, sound like he sound right. He said it, bro. You let that shit go, bro. You should let it go. I knew I wasn't gonna try.
I was in LA doing live anything and she all in. I don't feel no emotion. And fall in, and I mean, roller coaster. She was just really my friend. All that I really needed. Hey, he said, really need different even. How we just really need. How I want to go have something.
I think that Dave Brown might have just gave us a To Be Fair record just then.
To be fair, long hair, care to be aware of what's going on. Hey, I gotta say to be fair more. I gotta interrupt you. To be fair. I know you like white girls. They said you like to ski. I don't know.
And you can hit the sound on that tone.
See the egg there.
I'll hit the sound on
the beat.
It's white girls on me, man.
You like Spanish one? Okay, I ain't mad at Spanish.
We out of here? You done?
Yeah, Dr. Umar.
Hey, hold on. Before we leave, I want to tell everybody thank y'all for tuning in to the To Be Fair show. Please hit the notification button, hit the subscribe button. If you haven't, hit like. Follow us at Instagram, Facebook, Threads, and TikTok. It's the To Be Fair show. I am your host, Johnny P.
It's Q.
Special guest, Jay Brown.
Yeah. Going crazy.
And we out.
Peace. Big love. We'll have you back. I'm like,